slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find a better place to play? You said that you'd never been, but all the things that you've seen will slowly fade away. So I start a revolution from my bed, 'cause you said the brains I had went to my head. And stand up beside the fireplace, take that look from off your face. You ain't ever gonna burn my heart out. Take me to the place where you go, where nobody.
I didn't see your face, but I'm sure you did not appreciate the pose I just had.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to episode 104 of White Heat. I'm Brian. That's JJ. I'm at Brian Katie. He's at JJ_Alexander on the X Twitter X. What is it called these days?
I have no clue.
All right. That all being said, how was physical therapy today?
Oh, just wonderful.
Have you needed mental therapy the last 4 days at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Lots.
Okay. Well, hopefully this provides you some mental therapy as well. Because, yeah.
Because fuck everything, including your couch.
Because, yeah. Real quick, Impact, I got nothing for you. They took Thanksgiving Day off, and they're doing their IPWF thing.
I thought an episode of Thanksgiving Impact aired.
They did. It was like a best of episode.
Okay, all right.
But tonight is their IPWF throwback thingamabob, or not tonight, tomorrow night, excuse me. Because we're recording this on Wednesday, not Thursday. But this week they're doing that throwback wrestling thing. So
yeah,
looks like Josh Alexander's a lumberjack. Santino Marella, that looks like like an old school, like wannabe Ivan Koloff kind of Russian. I don't fucking know.
So he's basically playing the character he was in fucking OVW.
Yes.
Boris Aleknioff.
Yes. So yeah, that lovely. So that's all I got for you. I ain't got shit else. So if you're an Impact fan, sorry, I got jack shit for you.
They're treading water until January.
Unless you want to really go knee deep into the digital media title match that got announced for Final Resolution December 9th between Tommy Dreamer and Diener. Do we want to go blow for blow, breaking that one down?
No.
It's a week from Saturday. I think that's an Impact Plus only event. So, yeah, that's all I got for you on that one. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. All right. New Japan. World Tag League. That's really all. That's all I got for you. World Tag League. Block A. They are going to be back in action on Friday. As of right now, Shota Umino, Ren Narita, as well as the team of TMDK, Nichols and Haste, they share the lead at 6 points each. They're each 3-1 in pool action. Then we have a clusterfuck of 4 teams in second place at 4 points each. Ishii and Toroyano, Great Okan and Hanare, Coughlin and Kidd, as well as Kiyomiya and Oiwa, the team from I believe that's the team from oh, the fuck, is it Noah? I don't remember.
Probably.
And then 2 teams each at 2 in last place at 2 points each. That would be House of Torture, Evil and Takahashi, and the Gates of Agony. However, there was an interesting. How should I put this? There was something interesting that happened earlier today. For the Japanese, that would be
yesterday.
Last night, I guess. When they had B Block in action in a preliminary match before all the B block matches, say that 3 times fast, was an 8-man tag pitting the Gates of Agony as part of one team and Evil and Takahashi on the other side. After the match, the two teams attacked a guy and shook hands. So it looks like Gates of Agony are joining House of Torture, even though they're facing each other in less than 48 hours. I got nothing for you. I mean, they're the two lowest teams in the table in their pool, so they're obviously not going to win. Sure, but we'll go with that.
I think I know why this is happening.
I'll go ahead.
Because of the bullshit that Tony's pulling with trying to bring in more Japanese talents and how Takahashi, because that's Hiromu Takahashi, right?
No, it was
then never mind.
Yujiro.
Oh, then I fucked up. Because Hiromu Takahashi said that he wants to defend the light heavyweight title on U.S. soil, and he
Hiromu
wants
has
to
nothing to
face.
do with House of Torture. Hiromu's with LIJ.
I know, but that's why I fucked up. I thought it was Hiromu Takahashi that was with Evil.
No, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah, because Hiromu wants to face Darby, so I figured that would have been the way in. But no, wrong Takahashi. My bad.
You're fine. Don't worry about it. All right. As far as the B block is concerned, like I mentioned, that was earlier today for us, last night for the Japanese. So there has been a draw at one point in the B block. Probably been a time limit draw between the teams of Goto and Yosahashi, as well as Atlantis Jr. and Soberano Jr., which creates an odd dynamic because the only unbeaten team in the entire World Tag League resides in B block. Would you like to guess which tag team that is?
Is it fucking Ishii and Toru Yano?
No. Ishii and Toru Yano are, I think I just said they had 4 points in the A block.
Okay, my bad.
It's pretty much as random as that. Lance Archer and Alex Zane. Yep.
Jesus, this is the hottest Lance Archer's been since he was U.S. champ.
And the only team in second place with 6 points right now in B block are Tai Chi and Yuya Uemura. Then obviously Atlantis Jr. and Sobrano Jr. are all alone in third place with 5 points each. Hikalau and El Phantasmo, as well as Yoda Tsuji and Xander Khan Jr. each at 4 points. I already mentioned Goto and Yoshihashi at 3 points. Fale and Bonza actually won a match.
Yay!
Shit. They're at 2 points. And then the only team at 0 points is Yuji Nagata and Minoru Suzuki, which leads me to, do you have the picture I sent you, sir, of Yuji Nagata and Minoru Suzuki post-match?
Sure do.
This past week. Minoru decided to say during the backstage press, quote, I'll read it for you for those of you who aren't watching. Well, you should be watching. If you're just listening, though.
Listening on Spotify.
Right. Quote, Nagata, your wrestling hasn't been updated for more than 20 years. I'm touring the world by myself. I'm on the cutting edge of wrestling. Your OS is out of date. You need to update. You have Windows 95. I laughed at it the first time, but when you actually read it out loud, it doesn't sound so entertaining. But
Murder Grandpa's just being angry old man.
Yeah, that was funny, I thought. As far as when B block is back in action, that'll be Saturday in Osaka. The World Tag League will wrap up pool. Really wrap up pool competition on the 8th, it looks like, December 8th. And then December 10th, December 10th is the World Tag League final. Which will be in Kumamoto. So that's a week from Sunday that they'll be having that. And then after World Tag League, they kick off basically the final tour. And actually, they don't even do another tour. They'll have 2 nights in Cork and Hall the week before Christmas, the 21st and 22nd. and then they're off until Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome on the 4th, and New Year Dash on the 5th in the Samita City Gymnasium that they always go to the night after
Right.
Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah. I have no interest in Wrestle Kingdom yet again this year.
Well, me.
I honestly I haven't been because it's just, it seems like, I don't want to say it seems like treading water, but it just, nothing of merit has really happened since 2020. Like back then, because I really got into New Japan. I actually had my subscription to New Japan World when Liger was retiring,
Right.
and when they did the unification with Okada and Naito. And there was some good shit going on then. It was like they really rebounded off of having to do shit without the help of AEW. And since then, since they started working with AEW again, everything's just blah. I miss some of the shit that used to happen. Now it's just there. They haven't, they've tried creating new stars, but it's whoever they throw the belt on, it doesn't matter. It didn't do anything to elevate Evil or Sonata. It just, and Naito's getting older. Okada may be looking for greener pasture soon. Fucking Osprey is there. Who cares? Zack Sabre Jr., who cares? I don't know. It just, I don't see anything good happening with them. And especially with them basically saying we're not going to do it. We're basically not doing strong anymore. We'll do one show every 6 weeks and tape it and break it up into fucking 3 episodes.
So I know before it wasn't really an argument, but a point I made was throwing the theory out there about New Japan's suffering starting once that whole crew decided to go and form AEW. But the more you really think about it and you break it down, those guys that left and did that, they can't help the fact that New Japan isn't forming new talent, and the talent they do have is just getting older by the year. And New Japan is sitting in a position where, what do you do? Who says Okada is going to be wrestling into his 50s like a Yuji Nagata or Minoru Suzuki?
Right.
Or who says that Sonata is going to do that, or any of their brighter stars like Naito? I think Naito's on the older side.
Yeah, and he's starting to show his age.
Right. So, but it's just, you're at a point where are these new stars supposed to be coming from? Because Naito is 41 right now. Sonata, he's younger than Naito, but he's not exactly, a spring chicken per se in wrestling perspectives.
Right.
Okada's been around forever. I mean, how long do you expect Hiromu Tanahashi to keep putting on gear and getting in the ring?
Right.
His body has started to betray him in recent years.
Right. I mean, Suzuki, how long you think Suzuki's going to be like Luthez and go on till he's 75?
Yeah, I just don't get how. I just don't get how you don't produce. You look at all these young lions per se.
Right. You got Shota Umino, who hasn't really done shit. You got Ren Narita, who really hasn't done shit.
Yuya Uemura.
Yep. Great Okan, it looked like they had something going with him, and then he just kind of floundered.
It doesn't exactly give you a bright picture.
Eddie Thorpe was smart and got out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly a bright picture right now for, we'll say 5 years down the road. I don't know. I don't know what New Japan is doing. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure they know what they're doing at this point. You can only rely on the ability and talent beyond your pastures to help you for so long until you're in need to create legitimate guys from within your own home.
Right. And Gato is never going to be Antonio Inoki as far as being a booker. That's just never going to happen.
Well, we know that.
Right, but that's a hard fact that a lot of other people haven't come to terms with.
The only thing he might not do is the only thing he might be smart and not do is not try to crossbreed different combat sports.
Right.
That's a whole nother story for a whole nother.
Yeah, that was a dark time in New Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't even discuss that. Anywho's, that's all I've really got. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I got nothing else. So, yeah, that short and sweet. One thing I do want to bring up though, before we get into the two major brands we obviously bring up,
Mm-hmm.
you got that one picture for that promotion, that promotion that believes in territories all over again.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So,
Hold on one second.
so the NWA, how should I put this? They put together a press release without publicizing the press release.
Yep.
And essentially revealed, trying to find anything more on this, I'm not. So they announced on Twitter, tickets being on sale now for Fort Lauderdale on January 13th. And you can see in the graphic, if you're looking close enough, the show is called Paranoia, and they're labeling it as a signature live event for the NWA. And you see that logo in the lower left-hand corner of the graphic?
Mm-hmm.
They've slapped the CW graphic on it. So let me, actually, I'm pretty sure that's where I found the quote-unquote press release was that website. So go to nwaliveevents.com, which, by the way, just brings you right to the NWA website. So right there, smack dab on the main page of the NWA website, NWA announces Paranoia, new signature live event. And there, you see, no press release anymore, apparently, because that's cool. But under the graphic gives the date and the city again, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That's experience the action and excitement of the NWA Live. The NWA brings Paranoia to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Saturday, January 13th, 2024. This new NWA Signature Live event features the stars of the NWA and NWA president, the Smashing Pumpkins' own Willem Patrick Corgan. Why do you feel a need to... Whatever. Witness firsthand as the NWA brings the old school to the modern era with this live television taping experience.
So I guarantee this is what's going on. This is going to be the replacement for Power. And either that or they're still going to tape Power, and Power is going to air on YouTube. And you know how he's paying for the spot on the CW app? Paranoia will be the episodes on the CW app.
Stupid.
Yeah. And that's just to keep his, charade going of, oh yeah, we've got TV. When he doesn't.
Stupid.
Very.
In the meantime, this Saturday night is the debut of the rebranding of Mission Pro Wrestling as Exodus Pro under the NWA Territory banner. Wait, hold on. Did I just see that? No, don't tell me I saw that right. Get the fuck out of here.
What?
Did I just see that they were publicizing a pre-show seminar? Oh, fuck off.
With EC3?
Oh, it's worse.
Oh God.
I mean, EC3 is part of it, but so basically, the people involved in the main event that night are going to be doing a seminar together. Now,
okay.
First of all, the thought of Angelina Love being part of giving a seminar just fucking...
Yeah.
That's number one. But number two, if you're fighting each other in the main event, why y'all doing a public seminar before the show?
Because kayfabe doesn't exist among the workers, bro. I know it makes no sense. I know. And let me take a wild guess here. I'm going to take a wild guess because I have not seen this. They're charging people for this seminar, and
it's
because they usually do. They usually charge workers.
There is a price. I can't tell it because in the top corner,
and I guarantee one of these selling points is if you pay for the seminar, you will be considered for use on future NWA events.
So the seminar is separate from. First off, they're doing 3 tiers of seating, which is
stupid.
General admission, preferred, and VIP. For VIP includes front row seating on a first come first served basis, an entry into the memorabilia raffle, a VIP meet and greet with EC3 before the show, and an autograph 8x10 with EC3.
First row on a first come first served basis. That's such utter bullshit. If you're paying for front row, you get front row. Oh wait, I hate this shit.
And then preferred seating is rows 2 and 3, along with an entry into the memorabilia raffle happening.
It's funny because they think they're going to sell more than the first 3 rows.
And then general admission, 20, 35, and 50. By the way,
I am not paying $50 for a fucking indie show.
And by the way, the show is Friday, not Saturday. My mathing was not mathing apparently. I'm still trying to look up this fucking. All right, hold on. Let me try to get back to this
$50 flyer for a fucking indie show.
Let me try to get back to this flyer quick. All right, I think it's $40. It looks like for the seminar.
I mean, as far as seminars go, that's actually not bad.
It's the training sessions from 1 to 4:30. A training session for all experienced professional wrestlers, in-ring wrestling, matches, training, diet and nutrition, and marketing.
I really want to know what the fuck EC3 is going to teach me about marketing. Considering the last NWA pay-per-view did 212 buys, I really want to know what the fuck they could teach about marketing.
Control your own narrative.
Yeah. Please tell me about how great of an economic success Control Your Narrative was, EC3. Please, I'm begging you. The only marketing EC3 knows is how to bilk the boys out of fucking cocaine. That's all EC3 knows how to do. Jesus fuck.
I want to say something about Angelina Love, but I can't remember if she was the one that caused the bullshit with Davey or if it was vice versa.
No, Davey caused the bullshit with that.
Okay, so I can't remember.
Davey always caused the bullshit.
Oh, okay. So I won't even go there. Okay. By the way, the dude she's managing in that main event is apparently her new thing. Who's
she managing?
I'm trying not to remember. See dude's name was like Fodder or some shit like that.
I'm not your father.
Boy Fodder. Hello, mother. Nope. Hello, father. Yep.
The guy's name is shit. Jesus fuck. This is what the NWA has come to. Their number one contender's name is shit.
If you took 10 to 15 years off Davey Richards and stretched him out a couple inches, it looks just like Davey.
I'm not your father.
Go look him up. Look him up.
The fuck is this guy's name again? What Fodder?
Fodder.
Yeah, I know. What's his first name?
It's just his ring name is that.
His ring name is literally just Fodder.
Yes. I mean, he goes by, it's preceded by and quotes the phrase Psycho Boy.
Psycho Boy Fodder. Okay.
But I swear, it looks like Davey 10 to 15 years younger and then stretched out about 3 inches in height.
With more ink, yeah. I mean, the dude looks to be in good shape. I'll give him that. But wait. Dude.
Yeah.
You know where this fucker came from?
Where?
He was a contestant on Love Island.
No. Get the fuck. How did I miss this?
Google image search for Love Island star to flex muscle and Nottingham wrestling. This is from 2019, but yeah, so he started off from being a contestant on Love Island 4 years ago.
Oh, the in Europe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, if it was the American version, how the fuck did I miss that? Because
Yeah, no, it was the Brit because Love Island was a British show originally.
Right. My wife has me watch that.
Oh, I hate reality
Baxted?
TV. Just how could you not know, especially if you're British, for fuck's sake. If you're British, you know that fodder means shit. I don't get it. How stupid are these people? Tell me, please tell me, what's a guy who thinks a good wrestling name is shit gonna tell me about marketing? Please, I want to know.
Well, speaking of people who don't know their head from their ass, should we move on?
I suppose. Can you kibitz for a moment? I need more coffee after learning that a guy thinks a good name is shit. Plus,
sure.
my phone is ringing.
Hello, fodder. How are you? Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. Yeah, I got nothing. And if you're going to that show in, what is it, Cleveland area? I think is where it is. I keep closing the tab for this stupid ass show. All right. Yep. There we go. I'm pretty sure this show on Friday night's Cleveland, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Cleveland. Bless your soul. Just bless your soul, man. I'm at a little bit of a loss for words when it comes to NWA. But then again, I think a lot of people are at this point at a loss for words. All right. So yeah, there's a few different things to we're gonna be jumping into. Obviously, all the fallout from the weekend with WWE and Survivor Series and Raw. A lot of AEW stuff we're about to get into first. Well, yeah, I also have a hot take today that I'm going to get into when JJ comes back. And I'm going to mention in the midst of all the AEW stuff we're going to talk about because so JJ has spoken before about his belief about if people don't understand the rules for something, why keep it around? It's specifically a take he has about something in NXT. And it's something that I suddenly had the forward thinking. I don't know if it's really forward thinking, but something came up for me when I was watching all the AEW television from last Wednesday and Saturday. Something just clicked for me where I'm like, if we have to explain all this every time there is a match of this sort, why do it at all? Because it's not like the match is a special attraction. But again, we'll get into that in more detail as we go through all the AEW stuff. So we'll just kind of for a little bit of time. Oh, in the meantime, there is something I can bring up real quick. So there was chitter chatter, by the way, over the course of the last couple of days about Triple H having not been at Raw. I know I'm going out of order here, and we're going to be talking about AEW in a second, but news was confirmed that his absence from Raw the other night was already pre-planned. Apparently, there was other WWE business that had to be handled by Hunter that was taking him away from Raw for the night. So don't freak out, y'all. Nothing crazy. The show was technically run by Bruce, which might explain why the timing was off for the end of the show. So, yeah. That might explain a little bit to do with that. Which, again, we'll touch on a little bit later as we will go through WWE programming in a little bit. Also, now to bring this back to as we're going to be starting AEW Ring of Honor coverage in a moment. Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello ended up having a baby girl, as was announced earlier today. Originally, born on Tuesday, apparently. Guevara made the announcement today in a post on Twitter, revealing the name of the baby. 8.4 pounds. Holy cow.
That ain't shit.
Ty Mello had her baby yesterday.
I kind of figured.
8
pounds ain't shit. I was 10 pounds, 13 ounces.
Shocker. Fucking shocker.
Good news. I'm finally getting the meds I've been out of for a month.
Oh, that was your phone call. Congratulations.
Yes, that was the phone call. So I had to take that.
Lovely. All right. Shall we dive in?
I suppose.
Before we even talk about the actual TV, there is something we need to discuss that has already started happening this week.
Uh-huh.
I think you know where I'm going with this. So, Monday was the start of the official pre-sale, while this Friday will be the official public on-sale date for Wembley next August for AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they've learned their lesson a little bit. So, you'll remember the setup they had for the event, what was it, 2.5 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
You have the showing if you want to bring that up. So here we go. The whole thing was wide open. You'll see it up top here. We're stacking up the seating arrangement for this past August and next year's show.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see that little black protrusion down the very center of the top image from this year's seating chart. That was the entranceway leading to that little black square where the ring is.
Right.
This year, next year, but this year for selling tickets, they are now closing off roughly, I'll call
a third.
Yeah, I was going to say 30%. Yeah, we'll call it a third.
Mm-hmm.
And they are going to build out a stage. So in other words, they're gonna make it actually look like a big deal. That's amazing. The stage, entranceway, whatever you want to call it. Then obviously the ring in the middle. So instead of it just being about, oh, we want to sell as many tickets as possible, they actually want to make it a fucking production. Isn't that a fucking thoughtful idea?
Well,
but apparently, it's not just about that. They didn't want to fuck up with Swifties.
Yep.
Do you want to dive into what that apparently has something to do with Taylor Swift having...
Taylor Swift is doing multiple dates at Wembley, and they wanted to add an additional one, which would be basically the day before All In. And so they said, and basically Wembley was like, yeah, we don't care if you're paying us for this day. Taylor Swift is making us more money. So you need to find a way to do all your load in one day. And Tony went, okay.
Lo and behold, that's what you got.
Because Taylor Swift makes more money for Wembley than Tony Khan does.
Tony Swift makes more money for every arena than Tony Khan does.
Oh, yeah. But this just shows the realism of how many tickets they're actually putting on sale, because they know that they're number one, we know he lied about the gate. Number two, it's pretty much open knowledge now that the reason he lied about the gate is because he bought a bunch of tickets himself. So next year, they're not even set up for anywhere near the capacity, because Wembley can hold with a concert almost like around 90,000 people. The way they have this set up for next year, you're going to look at a max cap of maybe 65,000 tops. And actually, no, not even that, because the entire upper bowl is blacked. So you're talking 45,000, which by this time next year, I mean, by the time it rolls around, who the fuck knows what shape this company is going to be in. And it's you're not going to have your hat to hang on anymore with your lie of the most, the highest gate or whatever that you claim for a fucking wrestling event ever, which it isn't in any way, shape, or form. So sorry, Charlie. No. Just ridiculous. And it's going to be funny when like last year it wasn't, or this year they got lucky and had a big pre-sale because it was an event, because it was a first time thing. You can't do the same trick twice. It's not going to work. It's just not. You can, there's a reason why WrestleMania is in a different city every year. If they legit only did it at, imagine, look what happened to Vince when they did WrestleMania 2 years in a row at Trump Plaza. The first year, it was a big sell with the overflow and doing closed circuit in the hotel. The next year, they were hardly able to fill the arena. You can't keep doing it in the same place. It just doesn't work.
You're right. I mean, it's just, I don't fucking know, man. I don't fucking know. Y'all just gotta chill the fuck out. That's the way I put it. Chill the fuck out. In the meantime, let me openly ask you this question before I run through everything.
Yes, sir.
How much AEW television did you actually watch this past week?
I watched Dynamite. That's all I will. That's all I agree to watch.
Okay. So
because that's bad enough, and that's enough torture for me.
Right. So opening match was the first match of the Continental Classic. What?
Just the Continental Classic. Just ugh.
Oh, the whole thing in general, you mean?
The whole thing in general.
Okay. Well, I didn't think this match was half bad. I thought it was actually a pretty decent match, all things considered. Swerve ends up getting the victory over Jay Lethal, so Swerve gets the 3 points.
Which they've worked together 1,000 times, so you knew it was going to be a good. Jay. It's hard for Jay to have a bad match, and like they work together. But like you knew, but this match was a foregone conclusion before the bell even rang. Right. There's no way you're going to have Swerve do the job fresh out of that fucking awful ass garbage match he had with fucking Paige.
Then we got Orange, Hook, and Shibata backstage with Renee. Yuta interrupts Orange as he was about to make an announcement, then tells Shibata he's coming for the pure title.
Didn't Yuta drop the pure title to Shibata?
Yep.
So what are we doing here? What are we doing?
We'll come back to that.
AEW, where we don't repeat the same matches over and over again.
Well, we'll come back to that. That gets answered. Don't worry, I've got answers for you. For once, I have fucking answers for a question. Programming. Then we get MJF and Adam Cole in ring. Max is walking with a cane because rumor has it he has a torn labrum. Apparently, that's the talk.
They said the word was he legit dislocated his hip doing that elbow drop spot on the table that was already collapsed.
Right.
Either that or that flying ace crusher that he did on the other side, which looked great, but had no reason being in that match because he was supposed to be injured.
Right. Cole says he feels bad for Max. Then the devil pops on the screen for a hot second before Samoa Joe comes out. He wants to make sure MJF is going to be a man of his word. Max curses him out. Joe's about to attack, but Madam Cole asks him not to. Joe backs off. Cole talks sense into MJF.
Which, like, what isn't Joseph P supposed to be this dastardly heel world beater? Why is he listening to reason from Adam Cole? Why is he not kicking Adam Cole's boot out and watching him fall flat on his face?
Well, Cole was sitting, so kind of hard.
Well, still.
Max relents, but then says, let's do it now. Joe says no because he wants the best fully healed version of Max, which again doesn't make fucking sense to what you're saying.
No sense.
So then Joe lays out the challenge for World's End in Long Island. MJF accepts, and there you go.
So we know when MJF's dropping the belt.
So then we get a trios match. Orange, Hook, and Shibata against Parker Menard and Jake Hager. But before we start the match, actually, no, as we start the match, because the fucking referee called for the bell before Orange announced he could announce his surprise. So ref calls for the bell, but Orange is still on the outside, and he's like, by the way, this is my surprise. And it's fucking Danhausen.
Oh yeah, that's right. Danhausen back from injury. Because, like, I love Danhausen's gimmick. I think he's a great guy. I think he's hilarious. But you're trying to get this big coming for this comeback for a guy who had 3 matches on TV for this company and lost them all.
Something like that. At one point, Danhausen takes Hager's hat, puts a spell on him. Or what,
Why does he have the hat back?
Who, Hager?
Yeah.
He doesn't. Danhausen took it.
But
just in general as a gimmick?
Yeah, because he gave the hat back to Jericho when he left the JAS.
I don't fucking know.
Tony can't even keep his own shit straight when it comes to a fucking prop.
Anyways, Orange, Hook, and Shibata win the match. Because I want to say Hook had one guy in red rum and Shibata had the other in like a dragon sleeper or some shit. I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I know it was Parker Menard. They were both in submissions. They both tapped out. That's all I fucking remember. Then we get Adam Cole backstage with Renee to say farewell. Roddy and the Kingdom interrupt him. Cole snaps on them. Says he isn't Roddy's best friend anymore and storms off camera.
We need to stop this shit.
It's not going to stop till Cole gets healthy, I'm afraid.
The company will be dead by then.
Okay, we'll take your word for it, I guess. Then we got Christian, the Patriarchy, in the ring. Oh God. Oh God. Now, what is he doing? Oh God. He's rolled his chair over. I hope this isn't getting. Is he getting a prop? What is he doing? Oh God. Now he's rolling back. Oh, okay. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. I don't know. Are you getting a prop? What are you doing with your dark ass fucking glasses today? What are you doing? This fucking psychopath.
Sorry. No, I had to grab something and the computer and all that shit.
I thought you were grabbing a prop for a second and fucking with me. Okay. So Christian, the Patriarchy, in the ring. Christian says Luchasaurus lost the match at Full Gear, decides it's time to recreate him and Nick Wayne in his image. Like he's God or something. That's nice.
Yeah, remember he's rechristening them. Oi.
Yeah. So Christian has Luchasaurus take a knee, says the name Luchasaurus will forever be synonymous with losing. Renames him Kill Switch.
Terrible. Because you know why? Because if you're going to rename the guy and you're going to rechristen a gimmick, give him a different look.
That'd be a starter, yeah.
Give him a different look. Even like fucking give him a different mask. Make him take off the mask. Like something. Because all this reminded me of was something that I did fucking years ago when I fucking rechristened fucking Nick King. All this reminded me of.
I remember that. Then Nick Wayne instantaneously took a knee, but Christian was like, no, get up, get back up. You don't need to be on your knees for anyone, he says. Calls Nick his golden boy and the son he never had. Gives Nick Wayne the moniker the Prodigy. Then, this is where shit just goes completely sideways. Nick's mother comes to the ring, trying to talk sense into Nick. And of course, Christian's talking shit, says it's a good thing Mr. Wayne was dead already because Nick would have walked out on him anyways. That's nice. Then Lucha steps between Christian and Mrs. Wayne, or whatever the fuck her name is. Christian eventually shoves Lucha into Nick's mom, knocks her down. Christian and Nick grab 2 chairs. Christian sets her up for a concerto, but gives the chair to Lucha to do it. Out comes Copeland, who makes the save, and he eventually gives a concerto to Nick Wayne in front of his mother.
And now we're already fucking hot-shotting Copeland versus Christian for the TNT title.
Oh, there's more. Don't worry. Then we get, and we're also basically saying Nick Wayne's mom's eventually going to join the patriarchy.
Yep.
Just calling that right now. Then we get, even though she's not at least I don't think she's a trained worker.
I think she might have valeted for Buddy Wayne, but I don't think.
Whatever. And then we get Anna Jay backstage with Renee, tells Menard and Parker and Hager she can't take their bullshit anymore. Parker gets a call from Ruby at the end, but assures Anna Jay he'll be in her corner later and not Ruby's. Then we get our second Continental Classic match of the night. Jay White eventually beats Roosh with a low blow the ref didn't see, leading to a Blade Runner. Because
reasons.
Then they show footage of Starks and Big Bill attacking Jericho after Full Gear. And then we get the coronation of sorts of Tony Storm, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
RJ, Sid, and Renee are announcing Tony to top of the stage just for what's an award show. Tony and Luther come up the ramp from the front row. Mariah May presents the championship belt to Tony. Storm gives her acceptance speech. Whatever. And then Sky Blue's entrance cuts off Tony's walk-off music, and Storm isn't pleased.
So that's how we're gonna start Tony Storm's first defending feud. And that's the thing is now that they've hit the crescendo of Tony using this new gimmick and trying to get it over, and they put the title on her, and now Tony doesn't know what to do with anything. And now it's just gonna be whatever it is. He doesn't know how to continue something.
So we get to the triple threat women's match, and here's my question. When's the last time Anna Jay has wrestled on TV? Or wrestled at all, really?
The tag match on Rampage against Willow, where she went through the powerbomb table off of the ramp spot.
All right, how long ago was that?
August.
Why the fuck does Anna Jay need K-tape? It's been 3 months.
Who knows?
Anywho, that's not my biggest problem. Biggest problem is that we're taking a picture-in-picture break during the match at 9:43, and we still have a main event after this match.
Yep.
Bitches.
At which point you know that they're going to go on the overrun because.
So, anyways, our finish is Ruby getting knocked off the apron in the arms of Parker to make goo-goo eyes. Saraya and Menard separate them to have arguments with their partners, and Sky Blue ends up pitting Anna Jay in the midst of all that. Sure.
Reasons.
Then we're still not done. We have something else before the main event.
Mm-hmm.
We have Wardlow backstage with Renee Young. Or Paquette. Fuck, whatever.
Moxley good.
Wardlow says Downfall of the Devil will be on his time. Then AR Fox, because this makes fucking sense, he steps into the picture to offer advice, and Wardlow headbutts him in the jaw for his troubles.
So we're just going to feed Fox to Wardlow now.
Sure.
Once again, I'm happy Fox is getting paid. I'm not happy with how he's being used.
Then we get the main event, the third and final Continental Classic match of the night. Briscoe and Moxley, fucking idiots in the truck, decide to show the stage instead of showing Mox coming through the crowd the first 10 seconds of his entrance.
Yep.
Good job. You're fucking smart. Of course, someone had to bleed because...
It's a Moxley match.
Right. Moxley ends up beating Briscoe, and then they shake hands after the match, and that's how we go off the air.
Right, which, once again, it's a Blackpool Combat Club. Heels, question mark.
Right.
Because why? Like, why? Why are you shaking hands?
Why does that entrance exist? Why? There's a lot of questions about BCC that I have zero answers for. Why does that entrance still exist? Why are they nice one show and then mean the next? Why is Yuta so short? I don't fucking know. I got nothing.
Plus, then the ratings came out over the weekend, along with the ratings for SmackDown, and Jericho had to be an asshole about things.
I mean,
I don't know if you saw this.
I heard about it.
So Dynamite did 845, which is around what they have been doing. SmackDown, which was on FS1 this week,
right,
did 789,000. So Jericho had to be an asshole and retweet one of the fucking AEW fucking fellatio masters on fucking X and said, "Oh, but I thought the sky was falling." Yeah, it is, fucker, because that was a low for SmackDown because it was bumped to a secondary cable network.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? It still came within fucking 50,000 of what your show does weekly. That does, if they were to do this on fucking Fox, you might have something to talk about. But I guarantee once this fucking Friday comes, they're going to be back up over 2 million. So you need to shut the fuck up.
Love JJ.
That's right.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and assume you didn't watch the Rampage Collision doubleheader then.
No, I was watching. Actually, no. I was out with friends on Saturday night for the first time in forever, and every motherfucker kept blowing up my goddamn DMs talking about the pay-per-view when I said, "Hey, remember the part where I said I'm out with friends? Leave me alone."
All right. Rampage. I sent you a picture about that opening match. Remember who it was? I don't think I sent it to you in the email. I just sent it to you privately when it was happening.
Oh, you were like, guess who's in the match?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fucking. Yeah, it was Hook and Rocky Romero against fucking.
No, it was them 1-on-1.
Oh yeah. It was Hook versus Rocky Romero. Yeah.
Number one. As you probably would assume, Hook looked like a lost baby in the middle of the hood.
Right.
Secondly, I don't know if this was just that poor of a reflection of who he was doing it with, or if this was really a problem with this guy in general. I don't think Rocky Romero should be leading anyone in the match.
No, you're right, because Rocky has always been in all honesty, like the hottest Rocky Romero ever was when he was tagging with Ricky Reyes, and Ricky was the fucking technician of the team. Rocky was I hate using this term, but Rocky was the Marty Jannetty of that team.
So the notes I have for this match is Hook is lost and sloppy trying to follow a traveled veteran like Rocky Romero.
Mm-hmm.
Spots are slow and painful because Rocky seems to be calling everything.
Yep.
The shit Hook is doing barely looks credible.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finally finish this godforsaken match with Hook reversing sliced bread into red rum submission and Rocky passing out.
And this is one of the prime examples of how nepotism does not matter. Well, no, because I guarantee his dad trains him at home. Yeah, and Taz only knew how to fucking no-sell people.
Then we get a Wheeler Yuta vignette. Want to know why?
Because he wants ciabatta bread.
A little more than that, actually. It was to publicize the pure title match later that night.
So it wasn't even happening on Ring of Honor. Like Tony, we get it that you tape 4 weeks of Ring of Honor or 2 weeks of Ring of Honor at a time, and it's pre-taped, so you don't want to do any title changes on it. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you give up prime TV time for this dead brand on your secondary show.
Then we get Chris Statlander against Diamante.
Hey, Diamante. When's the last time we saw her on fucking TV?
Well, it gets better. Guess what comes down to the ring halfway through the match?
Abaddon. I don't know.
A person's been teaming with Diamante lately on ROH TV. Come on.
Mercedes?
Yes.
Okay.
The first note I wrote about this match was Chris Statlander just needs to get to the fucking PC. Just get the fuck out.
She does.
Please.
She does.
Mercedes comes down to ringside just before the TV break. Getting more TV time in this match than she's had in months. Sad but true. Statlander beats Diamante with a discus lariat. Mercedes attacks Chris before Diamante comes and joins in. And then Willow eventually makes the save, so I'm guessing they're going to have a tag match on Ring of Honor probably at some point. I don't fucking know.
I don't even think it'll be on Ring of Honor. I think it'll be on Rampage next week.
Rampage! Then we get Daniel Garcia pre-tape about the Continental Classic and his lack of confidence coming in after losses from MJF, Andrade, and Miro. Playing the sympathy card, basically. Interesting. Weird.
Boy.
Then the Kingdom cuts a promo on MJF before beating down a pair of jobbers, apparently from IWC, because Tony Schiavone dropped that in the middle of nowhere in the commentary. Duke Davis and Gavin Jones. Not a fucking clue.
Nope.
Then we get to the main event of the first hour of TV to wrap up Rampage, our ROH Pure Title match. The three judges sitting on the stage were Jerry Lynn, Jimmy Jacobs, and Christopher Daniels. Yeah.
And you see, here's what I don't remember. Like, is it just me? But I don't remember Ring of Honor having judges for Pure Title matches.
Yeah.
I don't. I had the double DVD set of the Pure Title tournament when they first crowned a Pure champion, and
the
like
Pure Title. I think there's actually a time limit on these matches now.
There's a time limit on the matches. There's a standing 20 count on the floor. You
Correct.
only get 3 rope breaks.
Correct. Which brings me to something, but I'll get to that after I tell you the result of the match. Do you want to guess how it ends, by the way?
Time limit draw.
Wrong.
Oh.
Well, that's a good guess considering what I said 30 seconds ago. No. We basically get a wash, rinse, repeat of how Jay White won the night 2 nights earlier. Yuta pushes Shibata into the referee, gives Shibata a low blow while the ref isn't looking, and then hits a spike DDT on Shibata to become the 3-time Pure champion.
So that means that Shibata ain't working anymore because, I mean, even AEW's quack doctors were like, we can't let this guy in the ring anymore.
Then Yuta hits a second spike DDT after the match, after refusing to do the Code of Honor. Then goes to attack Shibata some more after the bell. Then Hook makes a save, and that's how the first hour ends. But that leads me to my hot take for the day.
Dude, did I not call this shit 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Now it's going to be a title unification match.
I have a hot take for you, though.
Okay.
So, what's the one thing in WWE you've said, and I'm paraphrasing here, if it requires this much explanation to try and get fans into it, why have it at all?
The fucking Heritage Cup.
Okay. Then why don't we say the same thing about the Pure title?
I've always said that about the Pure title.
Okay. So, we're in agreement. Because I don't think we've ever had the conversation before about the Pure title. I'm just at a point where you already have too much shit going on as it is with AEW and / Ring of Honor, I guess. Why bother anymore?
As far as because I remember so like I said, I have the double DVD of the Pure Title tournament when they first did it. I got it during one of the Ring of Honor Black Friday sales where I got a whole bunch of fucking DVDs. Back when you could still get DVDs from Ring of Honor and it was good. It's also like all their old straight shooting DVDs. I got a whole fuckload of those. Those are fucking great. But I remember when they first announced the Pure title and I went, this is too many rules. Like people aren't going to get into it. And like the whole thing was like the only reason people were into it the opening night was because it was a tournament that was loaded with names. I mean, the final match was AJ Styles versus CM Punk. And the problem was, at the time, Samoa Joe was the Ring of Honor champion, and he was a babyface. They opened the DVD with Samoa Joe talking shit about the entire tournament and literally saying they're only making this belt because no one can beat me. So right away, burying this new secondary title. Then literally at the end of the fucking night, at the end of the match, which like the whole lead, the match was good, and the fucking the series on the finish was fucking great because the whole only 3 rope breaks comes into play and all that shit. It was like it was serious. It was like Punk goes for the Shining Wizard, AJ ducks, puts him into the Styles Clash, boom, goes up, does the spiral tap. Fucking Punk puts his foot on the rope, but he already used his rope breaks. 1, 2, 3. AJ's the fucking champ. Crowd goes fucking nuts. As AJ celebrating, here comes Samoa Joe to the ring with his belt, and he's like, "Yeah, congratulations on your fucking consolation prize, because no one can beat me. You're nothing but a chump." Blah blah blah, and walks away. So you bury the fucking title the moment someone's crowned, and it was never taken seriously after that. And literally the only thing that it did was bring the only time there was an interesting pure title match was when the rope break thing came into play. I was at one show, it was either Braintree or Brockton in Mass. I was there, and it was Jay Lethal defending the pure title against Brian Kendrick when he was still Spanky. And whole thing, rope breaks were done, blah, blah, blah. And Lethal put Spanky into the tarantula on the ropes. And you can't do any rope breaks because he was out, so he had to tap out, and boom, Lethal retains. Those are like, but as far as the pure title goes, that's like the only memorable shit. Like otherwise, besides that, it was like, because Ring of Honor was already based on, you know, sportsmanship and sports-based product and what fucking Tony Khan claims he wants to be. Because Ring of Honor was the original, we want to be like New Japan. But Gabe Sapolsky would incorporate ECW shit into it when it came to settling large feuds. And that's why Ring of Honor worked as a super indie. But the pure title, I've never believed has been viable as working, especially when Joe buries it right from the get-go. And then 3 years later, Joe becomes the fucking pure champion. So why?
At least we're on the same page with that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you summed it all up right there, pretty much. All right. Collision. Hours 2 and 3 of free TV competing with Survivor Series. Good luck with that.
We got the numbers.
We open with the first blue group match in the Continental Classic. Only 2, though, because for whatever reason, Danielson and Andrade didn't fight that night, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Claudio beats Daniel Garcia to open the show. So maybe my prediction about Daniel Garcia is...
No, I still think you're right. I think he's going to be the big comeback guy in it.
We'll see. Don't we get Eddie doing a backstage promo live he wanted nothing to do with? Which, you know, Eddie. Are we live? Are we live? Okay. How long do I got? Okay. It was one of those things. Like, you know, Eddie. Then we get Kill Switch squashing the boys in a handicap match.
Yay.
Which nobody said was a handicap match until he just decided he was going to beat up both boys. So I guess it was a handicap match. Sure. Then he grabs chairs from under the ring and chokeslams one boy through an open chair, because that's always safe. Then Copeland sneaks into the ring through the crowd. Has 7 chair shots to the back of Kill Switch. Does a, you know, that crossface spot he started doing with the fucking rod of the chair.
Yeah.
So he did that to him. Then he hits the concerto to Kill Switch. Music hits. Adams posing on one of the turnbuckles. As Adams coming down from that turnbuckle, Kill Switch starts fucking moving.
After 7 chair shots.
And a concerto. So
Where's
Adam's like,
Sal?
Adam's like, fuck this mess, hits a stomp onto the chair, and then does a second concerto. And he finally stops moving.
Oi.
So after the commercial break, Lexi Nair tracks down Adam Copeland backstage. Adam tells her to leave, cuts a promo on Christian, challenges him to a TNT title match in Montreal, which is not tonight, but next week, the 6th of December. And apparently tonight, Christian Cage is going to answer that challenge on Dynamite.
So it's so they want to have the match the night that they're going up against Iron Survivor. Or is that on a Sunday?
Deadline is a Saturday.
Deadline's a Saturday. Yeah, so it's the same night as Deadline.
No, the Dynamite they're looking to have.
Oh, Dynamite! I thought you said Collision. My bad.
No, Dynamite. It's the week of, but
right.
No. So I have a thing about this. Then we have a tag match. How is Gravity a gimmick?
Here's what's worse. It's not his gimmick. There's another guy. There's an Italian wrestler who was under a mask named Gravity who still works. But they fucking made this fucking gimmick because that's someone's brother. I think it's another one of fucking Rush's brothers or it's like Serpentico's brother or somebody's brother. And they put him under that fucking hood because he didn't have a gimmick.
Well, it's stupid.
Because literally, if you look up fucking Gravity wrestler, it's a dude from Italy who, because the first time they showed this guy, I'm like, that's not so and so. Because like I didn't remember the guy's actual name, but I'm like, that's not him. What the fuck?
Under the mask was not meshing very well with the other three in this match.
Because it's a greenhorn from AAA. That's why.
One anyways, Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews end up winning. Gravity's tag partner was Commander.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get
I think he's Vikingo's brother.
Oh, even worse. Then we get a Darius Morton and Action Andretti pre-tape. And then take a wild guess who appears at the end of it to reveal that he's back.
Couldn't be Dante. There's no way. Already?
Yep.
Yeah, you're asking for an injury.
Yeah, and I think they're going to have a match tonight in Minneapolis because that's where they're fucking from.
Get ready to go back on the shelf. You are not ready to come back.
Then we got Julia Hart retaining the TBS title over Lady Frost. Then we got Callis and Hobbs backstage with Lexi Nair. Don is complaining about Jericho and Omega being #1 contenders for the tag titles. Sure, whatever. Apparently Hobbs' thing is he's big, black, and I don't know.
Big, black, and jacked. That's his new t-shirt. Because that's going to sell well. It's literally a shirt that just says big, black, and jacked.
Thank you. Now I remember. Now that you say it's a shirt, I can visualize it now. Thank you.
Like, even if I was a fan of Powerhouse Hobbs and wanted to buy some of his merch, I could never wear that shirt in public.
No, you don't say. You kind of fail on two of the three things.
I mean, I don't know. Bobby Ocean christened me black years ago, so I get away with two.
Okay, so maybe you're only short on one of them. Okay.
God, that was the best promo ever.
You want to talk about another guy who's just... I feel bad for the fact that he's trapped right now. Either I'm just not having very good memory about the matches I saw him have 10 years ago when he was on the indies, or he just wasn't doing this type of shit in the matches I saw him in 10 years ago. Bill Carr can fucking move, man.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that one botch.
Yeah, like he showed that off against FTR.
Yeah, like I've always liked Bill Carr, and I don't like this gimmick for him. Like I think the height of Bill Carr was when he was tagging with Dan Barry.
Dan Barry, yeah.
Like because he was able to work, but he showed so much character during it.
Mm-hmm.
Because besides that, like, because I remember, like, because he was in developmental, and then he got cut, and I remember him telling the story about Dusty telling him, like, "You're gonna make a lot of money, baby, one day, but it ain't gonna be here." Like, poor guy. And then, like, the thing was, he went back on the Indies, and he had no gimmick, and he was just Dutch, and he was just out there, pale as fuck, wearing bikers, and he really had nothing to him. It wasn't until he started tagging with Dan that he developed a whole persona, and the shit worked. And then, like, he goes back and he hooks up with Vinny and goes to Ring of Honor, and they're like, "We're just gonna call you Dutch again, and we're gonna put you in white, and you're basically gonna be fat Eric Rowan."
And that's actually when I saw Bill for the first time, was fresh out of developmental.
Yeah.
So that explains a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, FTR ends up beating him and Vinny. And then Malachi and Buddy they basically came out into the crowd through the Mox entrance. And Malachi cut this random ass short promo, and then the lights went out and they disappeared.
Sure. I still don't understand why fucking Brody's in the fucking classic and not Malachi.
No. Then we get Starks and Big Bill in the ring with Tony, cutting a promo about Jericho and Omega, basically. Then we had Keith Lee beat Lee Moriarty, even though Keith Lee got zero fucking pop to his entrance.
Yep.
Then after the break, we get Keith Lee backstage with Lexi Nair saying he is sick about the lack of opportunity he's been given. So now he's going to take it, whatever the fuck that means.
Pip,
go ahead.
How is there a lack of opportunity when he just had a TV title shot 2 weeks ago?
I guess he's referring to the Continental Classic.
Why would you be putting the Continental Classic when you haven't won a singles match on Dynamite since your debut?
Because he's limitless.
He's hopeless. That should be his gimmick. Hopeless Keith Lee.
And then they ended the show with Brody King beating Eddie Kingston.
Right out the gate, bury Eddie Kingston in this fucking tournament. Say he's going to put his money where his mouth is and lose the first match to the secondary, the fucking heavy in a fucking faction that ain't done shit since Wembley. Bravo. Bravo.
Now who's calling you? Is it Bobby Ocean confirming you're black again? Oy vey. I'm just, I can't. I can't. There's a guy who thought he was going to greener pastures and really fucked up. Fucking. I don't even know what Keith Lee does at this point. Like, either within AEW, outside of AEW, I don't know what the fuck this dude does at this point. Like, he's got no creative that makes sense for him at this point in AEW. Aside from whatever the fuck they're trying to do with him and Shane Taylor, which nobody seems to fucking know because they haven't done anything together. Aside from him beating Lee Moriarty this past Saturday night. But even beyond that, like, they've had, what, maybe 2 vignettes about each other, and that's really it? I don't see what writing is on the wall for him going forward there. And if he just goes back on the indies, like, yay? Like, the indies aren't exactly the same as he left them years ago. Like, PWG is in a weird state of flux with whatever the fuck they're doing. Like, I couldn't begin to tell you what indies are actually not just surviving, but really thriving. I mean, I guess maybe Defy seems to be doing all right in the Northwest. I mean, he could always hit up Booker T maybe to be in that RWA promotion he has in Houston. I I can't think of much else really. Like, he could probably book himself out if he really wanted to for like, like Chaotic or Blitzkrieg, us. Just saying. Um, yeah, I don't know. He's in that weird state of flux where I don't know what makes sense for him or where it makes sense for him. All right, so for those of you who may not have been keeping track of the mathematics behind it, so you got Jay White, John Moxley, and I'm blanking. Oh, Swerve, all with 3 points in the Gold League of the Continental Classic. Brody King and Claudio with 3 each in the blue, with Danielson and Andrade not having a match yet in Blue League. Then the other 6 all at 0 points after losses this past week. I know we have the graphics for this, but I'll just pull them up on my phone quick just to make sure. Make sure I'm looking at this correctly. So, as far as tonight is concerned, the 3 Gold League matches are Mark Briscoe against Roosh, both of whom are 0-1. John Moxley will face Jay Lethal. Mox is 1-0, Lethal is 0-1. And then Jay White and Swerve Strickland, which I'm assuming will probably go on last as the main event. 2 guys, both 1-0 in the Gold League. I mentioned Christian Cage already. He'll respond to Adam Copeland's challenge. And then they're going to have Bryan Danielson as special guest commentator. I don't know if it's going to be for the whole night or if it's just going to be for the Continental Classic matches, but he'll be on the stick. As far as Collision's concerned this coming week in Erie, Pennsylvania, Bryan Danielson will have his first match in the Classic, taking on Eddie Kingston. Garcia will take on Andrade in Andrade's first match in the Classic. And then a 1-0 versus 1-0 matchup, as we'll have Claudio versus Brody King going at it. So, those are the matchups. I don't believe AEW has announced anything else. I'm going to double check and see if they have. Let's see if. See, because usually Tony Khan is just retweeting and tweeting a bunch of shit day of show. So let's see here. No, Tony hasn't tweeted since 2 days ago. So that's cool. Let's see here. Swerve and Jay. Yeah, just the same shit I saw earlier before we started the show, basically. And I'm going to check one more account to see. Let's check the main AEW account here. It sounds like Danielson's going to be on for the whole show.
Oi, okay, I'm back.
All right, welcome back.
Prescription stuff again.
Oh, good. So I was just going through the booking for which I gave you the
graphics. Yeah.
Graphics for, yeah.
Yeah. So we got, let me see here. We got Garcia and Andrade. And then we've got Claudio versus Brody.
1-0 versus 1-0. Yep.
And then we've got fucking Y.
Yep. So Danielson making his classic debut against Kingston, who's 0-1. Andrade's making his classic debut against Daniel Garcia, who's 0-1. As far as tonight's concerned, you can pull that up too real quick. I just went through this already. My assumption is Jay and Swerve will be the main event because it's 1-0 against 1-0. Briscoe and Roosh, pair of 0-1 guys. Top right, Moxley Lethal. Mox is 1-0, Lethal's 0-1. From the looks of the way they're publicizing this, I think Danielson's on the commentary table the whole night tonight. I'm not sure.
Probably.
But I'm guessing. Obviously, the Christian Cage answer for Copeland. Also, MJF tweeted this morning just a random tweet, but it sounds like he'll be at the show tonight.
He's got to be. They got to spike the ratings for that quarter hour that he's on.
Right. But that's all that's been publicized, though. No other matches. They've only announced those 3 matches, and that's it for tonight. So,
yeah.
Like, not even Tony Khan. Tony Khan has been on. He hasn't tweeted in 2
since
days.
The 27th. Yep.
Somebody need to just check on him. Check if he needs a new battery in his phone or something.
Somebody took his phone away.
2 quick things, unless you have other stuff not pertaining to this about AEW before we move on.
So let's talk about the ratings for Rampage and Collision versus Survivor Series.
Yes, 3 things. Number 1. So, yeah. So year over year, Rampage this past Friday compared to 2022, the number was down. The overall number was down 43%. Meanwhile, Collision year over year, last year versus this year's came in at half the amount of viewers.
Which Collision hasn't been on for a year, though.
I thought Collision started August of last year.
No, Collision started August of this year.
Oh, so they're just comparing it, I guess, to whatever was on in the time slot on TNT.
Maybe, but yeah, because Collision started. Collision started a little bit before Wembley because it was Punk's show. Punk and Danielson and Dax and Washington were booking for it.
Right. Just so you know, the sun is washing you out right now.
Yeah, that's what I just noticed. Jesus fuck!
What a glare! Love the glare.
Sorry, puppy. I gotta take the world for a little bit.
Sorry, son. Hello, darkness.
That's better.
Anyways, now on to 2 things real quick regarding AEW-ish things before we go into WWE. Number 1, did you hear about the injury scare that occurred during ROH tapings that were done after Collision on Saturday?
I know there was something, but now I'm blanking on it. But I do, yeah, I heard about something.
So there was a tag match happening, and I know who it was. I'm just trying to pull up the names of the other participants real quick. So bear with me for a quick second while I find the article that I'm trying to get to. Nope. 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 By the way, feel good moment for Eric Young, Damo, and the artist formerly known as Alex Wolf. They reunited over the weekend at a Progress show.
Oh.
As Sanity. That was pretty cool.
That's nice.
That's
something I'm surprised that Scott D'Amore hasn't picked up on, is trying to bring Damo and Wolf over into TNA.
Oh, where the fuck is it? I must have went by it. I'm trying to go back to it now. Please hold. So basically there was a tag team match going on during the taping. And a former WWE, well, not even WWE, a former NXT talent got hurt.
Oh, it was Cole Carter, right?
Yes, sir, it was.
Yeah, they had to. Did they throw up the X, or did they just do concussion protocol, but they continued on with the finish of the match?
I'm trying to remember where.
Fucking 2 dimes. He will always be fucking 2 dimes after. God, I don't even remember who tweeted it, but they were like, you can't get enough female, that you can't sign any good talented females, but fucking 2 dimes gets a contract.
Yeah, I can't find the fucking news article. But yeah, basically Carter got hurt. He had an injury scare. I can't remember if they actually finished the match or not. I just know that Carter got. My assumption is Carter was probably teaming with Griff Garrison, if I remember correctly, because that's been like
Yes.
a thing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I want to say maybe Seidel was in the match. I could be wrong.
Yes, Seidel and Daniels, I think.
Oh, that would sound right because they've been teaming lately. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Hope he's okay. We don't want anyone getting injured out there. Regardless
Fucking
of what we think about
dudimes.
The other piece of news that's been a little more interesting in the last 48 hours. So QT Marshall is leaving.
Yep.
He's going to be wrapping up at AEW. I believe he's finishing up the calendar year and then leaving after the new year, basically.
Which is funny because he's not going to be on TV between now and then.
I just find it interesting that so basically one of the main guys that was being leaned on to train the younger crop of guys being hired into AEW is now leaving, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you lost your gym because Cody left.
Mm-hmm.
Then you lose your trainer. So now all you got left, not that it's a bad option, but all you got left to help these young men and women at this point with their in-ring skills, as far as being officially labeled as a trainer per se, is Dustin
and Danielson. Because supposedly they both still like run drills and stuff like for people that want to show up earlier, but that means people have to actually show up and people have to actually show the initiative. But on top of that, like as far as it, Danielson is just running drills. Like there's only so many times you can go over basics without like working on other shit.
Right. So.
And yeah. And so apparently, so of course, grain of salt with what Meltzer said about it. Cause Meltzer said QT something to the effect of people told him that QT wants to be a star and it's not going to happen to you. I'm like, I think QT has come to the realization that at his age, the whole like I'm gonna main event WrestleMania is never gonna happen. Right. I think QT realized that a long time ago, and QT really just wants to be able to help where he can. I think that QT, at least in the interim, I think he's gonna go back to the Monster Factory and help Danny Cage train people there, because that's what he was doing before AEW. And that's, he was really good at it. And him and Danny were a really good team together of training people. And especially with Danny trying to keep things going after the success of the Apple TV show, even though they didn't get picked up for a second season, Monster Factory is really in the gunning, because for a while there, it was a neck and neck, especially in the Jersey area, between Monster Factory and Create a Pro, which are both excellent training facilities. And they're both putting on their own shows, but Create a Pro has kind of gone by the wayside since Pat Buck picked up the job with AEW, and Kurt Hawkins has been working more with TNA. And Create a Pro used to run a lot more often. I like Kevin Matthews really hasn't been heard from lately, because he was really working on the promoting standpoint of that. And like I remember he was doing like Create a Pro shows in Alaska, and I haven't seen anything from him lately. So the Monster Factory is really filling that void. And, the Monster Factory was, for the past 50 years has been one of the top 2 schools in the fucking country. If you want to train to be, to be a professional wrestler, it was them and Kowalski's, which later became New England Pro Wrestling Academy. Yeah, I think that's where QT is going to go, unless he makes a ploy to get a job as a trainer in NXT, which I wouldn't say is out of question. I think he would be a really good fit there.
Because you mentioned that, because that was going to be my follow-up question too.
Yeah, because QT, QT was never like a big money draw, but QT is good at psychology. He's good at basics. He's good at character development. And honestly, he was just doing whatever he had to get a paycheck with Tony. We all saw that.
So you're saying he's good at doing some of the stuff they're not doing in NXT right now?
Yes, absolutely. Because I mean, QT, it's like QT got that like one little run in AEW during the pandemic where they made him and Cody against each other, and then it was QT was with his band of merry jobbers, like that's all it was. Like it was Aaron Solo was never going to do anything. Nick Camarado could, I think there's something with him just because of his look. I think you could get something out of him somewhere. Anthony Ogogo was a bust. Cole Carter was a fucking bust. But I think QT still has something to offer, especially like if it's Monster Factory or the PC, or if he's able to become a liaison in between those two parties. I could see him really, something good happening. I also don't know if you read the story about like how basically a bunch of people said his mind was made up back in like August about leaving, because that was when they were doing the QTV shit with Hobbs, and Punk was booking Collision, and Punk said, I don't like this shit. And so that's why they just kiboshed the whole fucking gimmick. So who knows whose idea it was to begin with? Granted, it was a very dated idea. And it didn't help Hobbs, but at least they were trying something new. I mean, I wasn't a fan of it myself, but they were trying something different. And then here comes along fucking Punk, who's just like, no, I don't like it. So it goes away. And that's a problem.
Yeah. But I mean, if that's the case, then the question becomes, why did nobody take up for it when Punk was gone? It's been long enough.
Because they put Hobbs with Callis, so
I'm saying the whole gimmick itself, like they were doing it with Johnny fill in the blank with his last name.
Johnny TV, yeah.
Right, like.
And then that one, where's Morrison been? Like,
Nowhere.
You haven't seen him on TV in fucking since that shit.
I haven't heard of him booked anywhere, honestly.
Him or Taya.
It's very weird.
Like they're just sitting home collecting checks now. They know it. They were like Taya can be as bitter as she wants to WWE for the way her and Johnny were released, and I get it. But now they're just sitting collecting checks, and like whether that was your goal to be like fuck it, or if you really have a love of the business and now you're like, well, what the fuck? We got in for this initial 3-week period and now we don't get phone calls. Like, It's an either or, like, because I feel like, especially with Johnny, like Johnny's one of those guys who's going to keep working far into the age past that he should be working. I feel like Johnny's in that category along with the Rock and Roll Express and Van Dam and Tony Atlas, and where they're just going to keep working because something in them, the itch is always there. Taya, I think Taya's still got some good years left in her, but God knows where that's going to happen, because it's not going to happen in AEW. I would be wary myself about going back to WWE now, even though it's a different regime. She doesn't want to go back to Mexico. So what does that leave you?
Here's the problem with Taya.
Yeah.
Call me crazy.
Okay.
Everything they were going to invest in her, don't you just feel like that's what they ended up investing in Tiffany Stratton?
Yep.
Like literally everything.
And that was a Sean call.
Right.
Because, oh, look, younger Barbie doll versus thick Barbie doll. Because what do? We just take everything we were doing for Taya and we're going to split it between Tiffany Stratton and Ass Bitch.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. Speaking of WWE, shall we move on?
I guess. So where are we starting?
Well, I think we gotta start with the go home. The SmackDown that was the go home for fucking
Okay.
Survivor Series, which opening segment was basically just just a setup for the women's match the next night. Damage control, the baby faces, whatever. Um, then we get um. Oh, so there was going to be they basically were booking a tag match later in the night, and so when they come back from commercial, Damage Control's backstage figuring out who should face Charlotte and Becky in a tag
And Bailey and Asuka, and Bailey kind of gave the look.
Right. Then we get Judgment Day retaining the tag titles over the Profits
Because
Dom, and is JD involved? Doesn't look like it. I think it was just Dom.
I thought there was that's right. Yeah, and Lashley was in the back again with B-Fab talking to him. Like, this is what I don't get. Like, number one, it was a heel versus heel match, so it was cold. But at the same time, you've got people out there with Judgment Day, but you don't have Lashley out there with the Profits. Why?
Oh,
I don't get it. Like, it makes no sense, especially because you're a heel stable. Why the fuck are you not out there with your guys?
I fucking know, man. After the match, they show Becky and Charlotte bickering backstage. Bianca wants them to focus. Come back from commercial. Grayson Waller effect. And he introduces KO, but it's Austin Theory dressed as KO. Then the real Kevin Owens comes out.
And they fucked up. The whole point in having the heel come out as the babyface in character, let him do something with it. He just came out. Like, I would have liked to see Austin Theory do a Kevin Owens impression, even if it was just 2 lines.
Right.
But the moment he comes out, just boom, here comes Owens. Like, let the heel do their heel thing.
And then KO wants to punch both of them. Then LA Knight comes out. And we basically have a tag match set up.
We got a tag team match player because it's SmackDown, and that's how we roll.
KO and LA Knight eventually win.
Why do they keep protecting Grayson Waller?
Oh, with Austin Theory taking the pinfalls all the time?
Yeah. Why is Waller the one getting protected? Waller is the fucking weak link.
I don't know.
Like, what? I want to know what incriminating photos Waller has. Because there is no fucking reason he should be getting pushed the way he is and as early as he is. With the lack of talent that he has, the fucking the sloppiness that he fucking has in the ring. Like, I don't fucking get it.
I got nothing for you. I wish I could give you an answer, but I got nothing for you on that. Then we got Carlito and Santos Escobar having a promo segment in the ring. Eventually, they have a brawl on the floor.
Got to hit that SAP button on the microphone. You're going to do that shit.
And, Jesus Christ.
Then George Lopez reference.
Yeah. And then after the commercial, they show Santos jump Carlito again backstage. Dragon Lee makes the save, but back to that later. Then we get the Brawling Brutes against Pretty Deadly. Butch goes for a tag. Ridge walks out on him. And then Pretty Deadly takes advantage and eventually wins the match.
Yeah, so it looks like Ridge is going to be doing the heel turn rather than Butch.
Interesting.
Right.
Then we get Nick Aldis backstage interview with Kayla Braxton. Says that Carlito's in no condition to compete the next night at Survivor Series against Santos. And Dragon Lee comes in, says, let me step in. Nick says you're in.
Yeah, and like, I don't know if Carlito's legit injured. or they were just like, we don't want to pull the trigger on this match yet.
Well, the next night on at Survivor Series, Michael Cole again. Who the fuck knows this is made up shit? Michael Cole said something about Carlito being out 2 to 3 weeks with a subluxation of his shoulder, which is basically a separated shoulder. I don't fucking know.
So yeah, it feels like they're just holding this off for like the Tribute to the Troop show or something.
Possibly.
Like, like, and I don't know. Like, I would have just like, I wasn't a fan of the bait and switch.
Right. Then we get main event, which is Charlotte and Becky against Asuka and Bayley. Eventually get to the end of the match. Charlotte and Becky are arguing. Bayley shoves Becky into Charlotte. Charlotte shake hands. Bayley rolls up Becky, gets the win.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the match, Becky and Charlotte are arguing as Bianca and Shotzi come out to try to keep the peace between them, and Lynch just basically says fuck off and leaves.
Yep.
That's how the show goes off the air.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how SmackDown ends, and Cliff hangs us into the opening match of Survivor Series. Because what was it? Women's War Games match.
Yep. Now, honestly, so we all know that they got moved to FS1. But it was the go-home show for Survivor Series. They didn't really stack it that much. Like usually, especially if it's on FS1, they pull out an appearance by Roman. There was no bloodline on this show. Like, it makes me wonder if that hurt the ratings as well as it being on FS1. Like, granted, there was no bloodline on the pay-per-view, but it just felt weird. It felt super weird to not have any mention of the bloodline on SmackDown whatsoever.
Not even a fucking segment. Not even like a Paul Heyman appearance. Nothing.
Right. Not even a pre-tape.
Yeah, very, very odd for sure. I'll give you that much.
Yeah.
So then we get to Survivor Series.
Yeah. Now, was there a match on the pre-show? Because I
not I'm aware of. Please.
That's really weird because usually like they've been doing at least one pre-show match for every PLE, and this is one of the big four.
I know that I felt bad for all the pre-show hosts because they were sitting outside the fucking arena and it was cold as a motherfucker in Chicago that night.
Jeez.
God forbid they brought it inside. Nope.
Well, so there's a problem with that because like you see the pre-shows where they have that. So number one, they didn't have room for it because they kept adding seats. Mm-hmm. So they didn't have room for the panel spot that they usually do. Right. But number two, the problem with that panel spot that they do during the pre-show is it's in the middle of seating. So people are coming in and you get everyone like it's the fucking Today Show walking by. Hey, mom. And it's so fucking distracting.
Yeah, you're right.
So like, it's, they had to put it outside, but then again, like they should have had like at least like heat razors outside or something for them. But I do want to say, I really liked the setup that they used for SmackDown and Survivor Series as far as seating goes, with the extra seats above the half LED board with the tunnel. Like, They should adopt that setup more often.
I agree.
Like, I'm not saying for every TV, but at least for the PLEs.
I agree for the PLEs, yes.
Except
for Mania, because Mania is Mania.
Because Mania, you need the big stage. But yeah, but because that, and not like the Rumble, because that's in a baseball.
It's a nice marriage of old school and new school looks.
Exactly, and it's adding more seats without sacrificing something, and those are actually really good fucking seats.
Yeah.
Because like it used to be like if you wanted seats that were by the stage, like you had the obstructed view and like you would see half backstage, like that. CC LaSalle always talks about. He was at the Mania where one of the Druids caught themselves on fire behind the fucking thing before it was time for Taker to come out. But yeah, no, that's a really unique setup that I think they should adopt for more of the PLEs that are at least on the indoor arenas.
Yeah. Agreed. So Survivor Series. I don't know why I'm trying to look something up because it's my fucking phone. Inside baseball. If I don't know shit, I go to the computer. So we open with the women's War Games match. Becky and Bayley start out. Then we eventually. So let me think. The advantage was for damage control, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So then we get. Don't hold on. Let me remember this off the top of my head. Then we get. Io Sky second.
Yeah.
All right, Io Sky, then Shotzi. Then we get Kairi Sane, followed by Bianca, and then Asuka and Charlotte are the last two that come in. Io Sky with her now annual trash can spot off the top of the cage, apparently.
Yeah, like, so I thought it was cool the first time she did it, which was down in NXT, right? It wasn't.
I think it was during the NXT War Games match, if I remember correctly.
Right. So it's been a few years since she did it, and she hadn't done it on the main roster. So I get why she did it. But I think that's one of those things. It's like, okay, you've done it twice now. Now stop.
Right.
Just, yeah, don't keep doing that. And but I mean, yeah, and just my one qualm was both War Games matches had so much plunder in them. Like, there was no need. Like, one or the other. Like, we are, like, any of us that listen to Cornette know that he's already talked about, like, the fact of having two War Games on the same show kills it and yada yada. And I kind of agree with that. I do think that, like, a women's War Games match should main event something like if they were to do another Evolution pay-per-view. But I mean, it was a solid match. It went by quick as hell for something that had the scattered times or whatever. Like, it didn't feel like it was as long as it was, which means they kept a hook on the audience.
And it literally went nearly as long as the men's match, and they had two more guys in that match than the women did.
Right.
Which means, and I agree. I felt like the woman did a good job of, how should I put this? It didn't feel like they were trying to, it's a common phrase I use all the time on the show, but it didn't feel like they were trying to cram 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag.
Right.
Like, everything they were putting in didn't feel rushed. It didn't feel forced. I feel like everything that was being done, I wouldn't necessarily say told a story, but at least progressed the match forward in a way.
Right.
Which is refreshing, because there's been some times in those War Games matches where you have certain people in them who, I don't know if it's just they're not familiar with being in the cage, or if it's not familiar with being around whatever plunder's around, but it's not a good fit.
The fucking NXT War Games, the fucking 2.0 versus Black and Gold.
Right. That's
that was so bad.
Perfect example, because, for example, Tony D lost in the fucking sauce that match.
Yep.
Aside from the one spot with the, what was the fucking spot in the top rope that he did with, who the fuck was that with? He did one spot that involved something. I can't fucking remember what it was. Involved a dude from the other team and a weapon. I can't remember what the fuck it was. Was it like a baton or some shit? I don't fucking remember.
Something like that. Yeah.
That was like the only spot where he felt like, or he looked like he had any kind of comfort whatsoever in that match. Otherwise, he looked like a fish out of water.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was that. That match went, I think it was 33 and change, 32 and change, something like that. And that was your opener. Team Bianca ultimately wins over Damage Control, ending with manhandle slam off the middle rope through a table and Becky pinning Bayley.
Which will obviously be the setup for Bayley getting the boot from the stable eventually.
More than likely, I would say yes. Then we get a pre-taped promo for Ruffles with Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, Otis, Tozawa. Tozawa sitting on Maxine Dupree's lap. That's a phrase I never thought I'd say in 2023, but I just fucking said it. Most importantly, and Pretty Deadly was in it, but most importantly, the biggest return of the night.
Damn right.
R-Truth is back, baby.
Put him on Raw. Keep him away from Grayson Waller.
Welcome back, Ron. How are you? Good for you. Then we get Sam and Jay backstage. Sammy says Orton isn't there yet, but reassures Jay that he's got his back. IC title match, which was the longest of the 3 non-War Games matches.
Mm-hmm.
Gunther eventually retains, even though Miz had that one hope spot where the turnbuckle pad had been pulled off.
And they did Piper Hart. Yeah.
Right. And, well, no, I was going to say they had the ref was trying to fix the turnbuckle pad, and Miz
kicked him in the dick.
See, I thought he kicked him in the dick twice, but then when they did the replay, it was like, maybe he kicked him in the knee first. I couldn't fucking... It was just a bad low blow spot, one or the other.
It was 2 dick kicks.
Then he really kicked him in the dick and hit the fucking...
skull-crushing finale.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I only got a 2 count out of that.
But Miz played an excellent underneath fucking babyface. Miz is one of those guys that every time you count him out, he will surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've been saying for years. There was a long ass time where I was like, why the fuck is this guy on my TV? But he won me over probably around 2011, 2012. And yeah, and this is a guy that's been doing this shit for over 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps getting better. And here's a guy that literally when he wants to hang it up, he will have a producer role waiting for him.
Yep.
He fucking gets it. And I would not be mad at seeing another fucking match between him and Gunther in the coming weeks. I would not be mad at all.
They'll probably run it back on Raw or something.
Well, I mean, because they're not doing any PLEs until the Rumble. They're actually going to use the next 2 months to build the Rumble.
Oh, right. So, yeah. Judgment Day backstage, gloating about how Randy isn't there, basically. Mm-hmm. Then we have Santos beating Dragon Lee.
Very short match.
Yeah, didn't even get 8 minutes.
Yeah, and it wasn't a bad match. And here's what I'm thankful for: the fact that the finish, he does a Canadian Destroyer, and he just instantly finishes it up with a Phantom Driver, and we're done. I was thankful for that.
No bullshit. Yeah.
Right.
It didn't turn into an AEW match, basically.
Exactly.
Then we got Rhea retaining over Zoe Stark. Shocker.
Zoe is not ready. She's just not.
Then we finally get to the men's War Games match. Seth and Finn start out. Judgment Day has the advantage. So then we eventually get JD, then Jey Uso. Then Drew was about to storm out of the pod, but Damian was like, stick to the plan. So Damian was next out. Then Sami Zayn. Then Drew. Cody. Dom last. And then what's supposed to be was the final entrance for Randy. Zero goes off. And instead of Orton coming out, Rhea's music hits.
Didn't I call this?
She runs out with a referee and the Money in the Bank briefcase. They get to the timekeeper's table and Rhea's about to ask for the cash in. And then Randy Orton's music hits. And that puts the kibosh on the whole thing. So no cash in. Yeah. In the midst of everything, as we're getting towards the end of the match, Orton has a moment with Jey Uso. When they're not fighting anyone, he tells Jey he hasn't forgotten from before. So we're foreshadowing that. Mm-hmm. JD McDonough becomes part of the updated RKO highlight reel now.
Which they put so much emphasis on the fact that if you escape the cage, your team automatically forfeits.
Right.
But they didn't do anything with that with JD climbing the cage. Like, he was obviously trying to escape, but they didn't, like, they could have played off that the following night, and they didn't.
Right. Then the babyfaces ultimately win with Cody hitting the crossroads on Damian Priest.
Which you figure that as all of this talk of people like, oh, people are really impressed with Damian Priest lately, then why is he the one that took the pin in that? What, JD was right there. He was the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Why? What? So
that's better yet. What's the need for the crossroads on Damian Priest?
Exactly.
Everybody else is already out.
Especially when that's the finisher that Priest was using before Cody came back. Yep. Like, it was just like insult to injury for some reason. But here's what I don't get. And yes, I know Cornette already harped on this, but I have to agree. They never explained why Orton was late and why he just showed up in his gear. He was just there. Like, he wasn't like, it was, the aesthetics was to get the pop. I get that. But you need to give a reason why. You need to give a reason why he wasn't in the cage. And when he showed up, he was just in his gear ready to go.
Right.
Like, it wasn't, they should have been something. Like, my Uber driver took me to the wrong arena. Something. All you got to do is give one line in a promo. And they couldn't even do that. And that, my friend, is bad booking. But speaking of bad booking,
the night wasn't over yet. So they do, the baby faces are celebrating in the ring, raising their hands. They do the pan out to the arena, show the whole arena. They show the lower third, the whole 9. And then, yeah.
That's all I have to say on the matter.
I know how you feel about him. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Because someone has to. I know that you can forgive, but it's very hard to forget. I understand that. But what if it truly is water under the bridge, at least for the meantime?
That's a big what if.
I'm just saying, you look back in time. I know this is with a different person, but you look back in time over the history of WWE. Vincent Kennedy was very much, not always, but with a lot of people over time, was always willing with a lot of people to be water under the bridge for various stuff. First person that comes to mind is Stone Cold with the whole walking out on Raw and all that. That was water under the bridge. Hulk Hogan, for whatever fucking reason they had that week, water under the bridge. The opportunity was never given, and quite frankly, I don't know if Randy ever wanted it, but maybe there could have been water under the bridge for Randy Savage. We'll never know because shit never happened. Scott Hall was always water under the bridge, no matter how many times he fucking relapsed. Warrior was water under the bridge years later. Eventually, Hunter even convinced Vince water under the bridge with Bruno coming in for Hall of Fame. Vince, while he may not have always been the one to initiate conversation, he was always open to conversation. Where the conversation led to down the road was always another story. Good, bad, or indifferent. Is it possible that Hunter learned that Shawn Michaels is another guy? Vince didn't have to bring him back after the way he acted like a fucking idiot when he was commissioner of WWE in '99, when he was a fucking drugged up fool backstage during shows. He didn't have to bring Sean back when he got healthy.
But Sean found Jesus.
He could have said "fuck you" to Jesus.
That's my gimmick.
You get my point, though. He could have said "fuck you found Jesus," but he brought him in. Fucking Flair. Whatever the fuck led to him leaving in '93. There's stories about that. That was water under the bridge when he wanted to come back after the invasion angle ended. Like, is it possible that's one of the hardest things Hunter ultimately learned and is now trying to enact? Is that you have to be willing to have water under the bridge sometimes for the greater good.
I'm going to say something that my father used to say to me. And that's what, because I would always bring up hypothetical of, is it possible? One thing my father always said, it's possible, but it's not probable.
I'm not necessarily saying they're going to become fucking buddy-buddy. I don't expect Phil and Paul to go out and have a sit-down dinner with each other. I don't expect them to have a couple's date with Steph and AJ. I'm not saying that.
Especially because if you look back in the history of things, when Punk would sit in on creative when he was champ, it's been known, and I saw this on dirt sheets, but I heard this from people who were in creative at the time. Anytime Punk would give an idea, Trips would sit here there and give him the side eyes. Like, because Punk's ideas were shit.
I'm just saying, I think Hunter has gone to a point, and this is something that was, I can't remember who said this. I can't remember if it was Hunter during the media scrum after the show, or if it was Punk.
I think it was 10
Hunter.
years.
I think it was Hunter during the media scrum,
where he said it's been 10 years and no one, if you haven't changed in 10 years, then.
Right. And I feel like that's not always the case on a personal perspective. I feel like from a business perspective, that is possible. It's more possible from a business perspective than it is from a personal perspective. And I feel like for the time being, at least on a limited basis, to see what happens, Hunter is willing to take that risk professionally while putting his personal feelings aside for a little bit.
You see, I feel like number one, it wasn't Trips that was the one that pulled the trigger. It was Nick Khan. Nick Khan was the one that said, contact him. And as Trips said, like the whole deal came together within like 4 or 5 days. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, Punk was trying to get this in motion when he was still working with AEW. We saw that with him showing up during his suspension to apologize to everyone. He was actively trying to get fired back then because he already made his money off of Tony Khan, because he only came back for money. Anyone that says he came back for the love of the game is full of shit. He came back because Tony Khan backed up 18 Brinks trucks to his fucking house, because he got offered $10 million a fucking year. And he said, okay. So he comes in and he latches on to whatever fucking youthful guy that he thinks can get over, like for the first fucking 8 months he's there, and then gets the title and goes, I don't want to work. So he fakes an injury. And I swear, if I have to deal with more fucking basement goblin online telling me that my whole theory of him faking an injury, no, fuck you. I had the same injury. You get an external fixator put on your goddamn foot with the amount of plates and screws that he said were put into his fucking foot. That is a minimum of fucking 8 weeks non-weight bearing. And then you're still wearing that fucking cage for at least another month after that. At least. This motherfucker takes a fucking 7-week fucking summer vacation and then comes back and is hopping around the ring like a fucking clown. He faked that fucking injury. Then the bullshit, the second time when he got fucking, Leo, when he said, I'm injured because I got a fucking triceps injury, and it was his fucking owner and all that shit. And then the motherfucker goes out and he takes a picture of a fucking external fucking thing that he on his fucking arm that can be taken off with no bandages or whatsoever, claiming he's having surgery. And guess what? He's got no fucking scar tissue. You want to take a look at this? This is scar tissue from the same fucking surgery that I had in 2015. He faked 2 injuries because he already got fucking paid. And then he did whatever he could to get fired. Trips want to say that 10 years changes the person. Yes, in the case of from teenager to your mid-20s, from your mid-20s to your 30s, I will agree with this motherfucker. Once you're in your fucking mid-30s to your fucking mid-40s, guess what? You're already set in your fucking ways. And he has not fucking changed. And like, I swear, like, I know we already covered this on an episode way back, but, I got all these people telling me I'm a fucking crackpot for fucking saying that he faked. They're like, you think that Shad Khan's fucking doctor's team? There is no doctor's team in AEW. We've already fucking proven that. They're letting fucking Paige wrestle when she's not cleared. They're saying Flair can take fucking bumps when he shouldn't. There's people injured left and right. And you really think they have a responsible doctor's team that fucking looked at him? Why is it every time we've seen a fucking injury on someone, they show fucking surgery pics online or they show x-rays and blah, blah, blah. We never heard shit about either of Punk's fucking injuries from the time he was gone to the time he fucking came back. Adam fucking Cole has a more believable fucking injury because he showed what his shit looked like, and then it shows him on a fucking knee scooter and it shows him in a fucking boot, which is the same injury that Punk claims he had, and Adam Cole is still on fucking crutches at the point where fucking Punk was already back and fucking dropping the fucking belt to Moxley just to fucking win it back a week later when he's still supposedly not cleared. Fuck that shit. He's full of shit. People don't change this late in their life.
So what do you want at this point?
This is what happens. He comes back. They get that initial merch pop, which they already did. That's what Nick Khan was hoping on, because Nick Khan wanted a big fucking bump for the last quarter of the year. So he figured, we bring in Punk, we'll get that merch pop, we'll sell tickets because we don't have any PLEs until the end of fucking January. So this will be a reason to fucking sell tickets to fucking TVs and house shows, because there's going to be the hope that Punk is there, because the casual fan who didn't watch AEW has not seen Punk in 10 years. That's what they were hoping for there. So it's going to show an extra bit of profit on the last quarter of 2023. Here's the problem. If Punk had stayed away from wrestling for 10 years and then come back to WWE, there might be a difference here. But we know all the fuckery that he went through in AEW. We know that it takes 2 to tango in any fucking fight. And we know that while the fucking Young Bucks and Jungle Boy and all them are fucking children, we know that. But there was a petulant child on the other side of that equation as well, and his name is Phil Brooks. There's a guy who fucking started shit by talking shit openly on a fucking media scrum, saying, come to my fucking locker room and get in my face. And then someone comes to his locker room and gets in his face. Like, you asked for it. Like, it's not like it just came out of nowhere. And granted, yes, I said Kenny and the Bucks are fucking children too, but still, you fucking asked for that. You openly talked shit next to the company owner about how the company is run by fucking idiots. You fucking buried their fucking champion going into a program with him because supposedly he went off script in a promo. So what? So fucking what? Like, there is it takes 2 to fucking tango. And all that shit happened in the past year. If all that shit hadn't happened and you take that out, maybe I could consider Punk being gracious and wanting to play ball this time. But because we know all that shit happened, they say like, oh, well, there are, this company isn't being run by children. So you still got a shitload of people in the back who are like, we know what the fuck went on across the street. We know all this shit that went on, and whether he was the instigator or not, or whoever you want to put blame on, he was still part of that equation. He did not act like an adult. So what does that mean with him being here? On top of that, you need to think about this. You need to think about, okay, so it gets that initial fucking ratings boost, which I need to check. Because as of this morning, the ratings for Raw had not come out. I'm going to take a quick look right now while I'm talking. But besides that initial boost in ticket sales and merch, think about everyone who's been getting built at the top of the card for the past 6 months. And
up 400,000 from last week to this week.
Okay, so
18 to 49 demo was up from 0.49 to 0.65.
Okay, so they were what? They were around like 1.9 million?
Highest key demo rating since post-show, since the Raw after Mania, and highest total viewership since August 7th. They were at 1.884 million.
Okay, so there was that initial bump. I guarantee, like fucking Cornette said they're going to hit over 3 million. They obviously didn't. So okay, so you got 400,000 more viewers on average for the first Raw back. Now you need to see where it goes from here. And now you need to consider, especially going into the Rumble, which is the road to fucking Mania, and all the questions go, look at all the people that they started placing at the top of the card. You've got Cody, you've got Jay, you've got, what do you call it? You've got LA Knight, whether they want to keep using him or not.
Drew.
You've got Drew, you've got Priest. That's 5 people right there. All of them whose spot just went into fucking question because they just brought back Phil fucking Brooks, who's obviously going to get plugged right into the main event picture, especially when they have Seth out there openly talking shit about him because they want to take something that has an air and reality and bring it to the forefront, because Seth doesn't care for Punk. He has said that before, but now they're trying to make a story out of it, which doesn't really work considering Seth's a babyface and so is Punk right now. And they're going to keep Punk a babyface in order to sell merch. And that's a problem. So you just put everyone's fucking, you put all these guys who you're starting to build to the top as stars, you put all of their futures into question to bring back this guy for a pop for 1/4 of a fucking fiscal year. And I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of fucking in-ring veterans that I have talked to have all said, we'll see how long this lasts. My personal bid, I'm saying give it till SummerSlam next year. Some people are saying 2 months. Some people are saying 6 months. I'm saying SummerSlam. I'm saying by SummerSlam of next year, something's going to happen where he's going to throw a fucking shit fit about something.
You know how much I hate that one podcast that's on Sirius XM, right?
Yes.
Well, it's not a podcast. It's actually a legitimate show. But you know how much I say how much I hate that show, right?
Yes.
Well, Tommy Dreamer decided he wanted to get paid for once this morning and was co-hosting the show today.
Okay.
You know what he said?
That it's good for business?
He took it a drastic step further than that.
Okay.
He said Punk's going to win the Rumble and be the one that faces Roman at Mania.
Nope. Because that's going to... Rock is doing that. Rock versus Roman at 40. I could see them doing Punk versus Seth.
I think that's the only thing that doesn't make any sense to me at this point.
Or Punk versus Priest if Seth wants to take time off.
I think that's the one thing that doesn't make sense in this whole equation to me. Let's not forget Randy Orton just came back too, by the way.
Right, exactly. I completely forgot because Randy just came back. But yeah, there's another person. Randy Solos. You're talking like 7, 8 people at the top of the fucking card that aren't holding a belt right now. Gunter. What are they gonna do once Gunter drops that Intercontinental title? He's already in that fucking echelon.
I'm gonna throw this out there
Okay.
with the grand picture of Raw. And I know that they're supposedly saying CM Punk is not assigned to a specific brand, and CM Punk is going to be at SmackDown coming up on a Friday. But I'm going to throw out a hypothetical here.
Mm-hmm.
Seth, Nakamura, McIntyre, Cody, Punk, and fill in the blank for a number 6. I think you just booked your Elimination Chamber match for Australia.
Probably.
I just don't know who the 6 would be because there's too many balls in the air. But I know I would say those are guaranteed 5-year 6 spots if that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
The 6th spot could be Orton. It could be Jay Uso. It could be
Could be Priest. Could be
yeah, depending on what they do with the briefcase. Yeah, it could be Priest.
Right.
Or you could do. I always hate when they do this, but they've done it before. You could have Priest announce, "I want to cash in at Australia," and then have 6 other guys in the chamber to determine who faces the winner of that match at Mania.
Yeah.
So you could do that too if you really want
to
make it a clusterfuck, but it's already a clusterfuck as it is. And you haven't even booked any matches out of it.
Exactly. Like the WWE have painted themselves into a different corner than what they painted themselves in before. Before this time probably last year, you would say WWE is not building enough stars. Now, with Hunter at the helm, they've taken the focus of building stars, but now they're just plugging someone else in where there's no room.
This brings me to an interesting question now that I'm making parallels here.
Mm-hmm.
Did Nick Khan basically just say, okay, we lost Copeland, fuck it, call him?
I don't even think it was that. I think Nick Khan just did it because he said, you know something, we're in Chicago and people won't shut up about this.
I feel like it's a weird position to be in now because commitment becomes the most important word going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even talking about from is he willing to buy into whatever is sold to him when he shows up every week?
Right.
I'm saying commitment as far as, is he going to take on an Adam Copeland kind of schedule like he had when he came back? Or is he legitimately going to be a week in, week out face for shows?
Right.
And once we can figure that out, then I feel like we can get ourselves a better gamut of what the expectations can really be going forward.
Right. Because it's, you know, he's not assigned to a brand yet and we're going to see where it goes. But it's, you know, it's a matter of, do you know, that was so when he showed up in AEW, he was having these random throwaway matches with people you knew weren't going over on him.
Well, not even that. I feel like it's entirely possible, and I can be wrong on this too. There's 2 ways of looking at this. A, he's legitimately going to be an every week their guy, and it's up to them to figure out what the fuck they're going to do with him every week. Or they could go the Adam Copeland route that they did, Edge, whatever the fuck you want to call him, and you know, this could be like his welcome back tour week with Survivor Series, Raw, and then SmackDown tomorrow night or Friday night. He's out of sight, out of mind for a few weeks, and then you just bring him back in the first Raw of January to help lead into Rumble and push Rumble views. So like, again, it just becomes a point of usage.
Right.
Are you booking him every week? If you're not booking him every week, is he going to be Brock dates, Adam dates, like as far as like the range of number of dates he's going to be working?
Right.
So that's going to be the important thing to figure out going forward. And I feel like we're not going to get a definitive answer until we see how the month of December develops, because you already have a title match next week with Jay and Seth, which will
Yep.
obviously tap on when we go through Raw in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But you already have that one title match set up. And obviously Drew is sitting in the background because that was done in a segment built around Drew being in the ring confronting Seth.
Mm-hmm.
So now from there, where do you go? Where do all the other pieces fit in around it? So obviously, we gotta wait and see what happens the next 2 weeks. That being said,
right, and the problem that I have also is if they decide to just plug him right into like SmackDown against Roman, then they're going to go the stupid route of Heyman being split between two people again, which we just did with Roman and Brock.
Right. You're right. But all right, we gotta get into Raw. Raw opened with, let me get to it, Orton coming out. Obviously, very emotional moment for Mr. Orton.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. I mean, it had been what? They said 15 months?
Yeah, it's been a year and a half. Yeah.
We're talking double fusion in the back. I mean, that's...
Yeah, there was word for a long time that he wasn't coming back.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, it was one of those things where, like, people were starting to wonder, do him or Big E ever come back with the way they've been healing or not healing? And
right.
Obviously, Orton answered that already. Orton obviously addressed the bloodline. Rhea interrupts, says the landscape of Raw has changed since Randy was gone. But then Orton says stuff to Rhea, says Daddy's back, which I thought was funny. Then JD McDonough and Dom attack from behind. Randy stands tall, tells Dom not to go very far because he's going to ask Pierce for a match against him later.
Mm-hmm.
Christ almighty. Then we get a pre-tape with New Day, Alpha Academy, and the Creeds with appearances from Jelly Roll and R-Truth. Then we're rolling the tag team turmoil. Can't wait to see your response to this. We start with DIY against Otis and Tozawa. Why Chad Gable wasn't wrestling, I don't know, but whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah, that seemed very odd.
I don't know. So DIY gets the pin on Tozawa, and then they eliminate Indu Share, which then brings out the Creeds. Creeds eliminate DIY, New Day, and Imperium with the same move. Brutus
Fucking
Ball.
Ridiculous.
And the Creeds are the number one contenders for the tag titles.
Why? They've had 2 fucking matches on TV. Why the fuck are they getting pushed to the fucking moon when they're getting 0 fucking crowd reaction?
I can't give you an answer.
Like, I don't fucking get it. Like, especially like, look at fucking Indu Share. You got these 2 fucking behemoths who haven't been on TV like in a match since they fucking got issued onto the fucking brand. Why the fuck are you not like, okay, granted, you just did heel, so you want to do babyface versus heel, but why the fuck are you just wasted these guys? Like, okay, yeah, they got pinned by fucking Johnny and Tommaso, so okay, they got pinned by an experienced team, but then to have Johnny and Tommaso get pinned clean by fucking Chubby Creed and Pasty Creed is fucking bullshit. Which, by the way, Pasty Creed you can tell that he was told to get some sun, and instead he went to a really bad spray tan place and got like only the fucking base coat done, so he looks stupid. I don't know why I see these stupid motherfuckers on social media saying like he's the next Kurt Angle. No, he is not. No fucking way. He's lanky and he's pasty and he can't cut a fucking promo. And they're so worthless, and I don't understand why they're getting pushed. I don't get it, especially because they scrapped this whole fucking NIL thing that they were doing because they were like, something, we need to go back to getting people off the indies. Why the fuck are they pushing these fuckers? They're terrible.
Anything else?
I can't fucking take it. I can't. Like, I fucking can't.
Then we get Judgment Day backstage. Priest is in a bad mood because he thinks everyone is disappointed in him taking the pin at Survivor Series. Rhea and Finn reassure him things are cool. Then Finn and Priest leave to check on JD, who's at medical. Yay, great. We got Cody in ring. He thanks his partners from Survivor Series. Welcome back, Punk. He officially announces his entrance into the Royal Rumble match.
Yay.
Then we get the lights go out. Nakamura pre-tape appears on the big screen saying, I need you to awaken me. Now I'm done waiting. Lights come back up. Cody turns around. Shin spits the red mist into his eyes.
So there goes everyone's theory, because remember, everyone's theory was Shinsuke was talking to Punk, blah, 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 when Punk wasn't signed until 4 days before Survivor Series. So the whole plan all along was for them to do Shinsuke and Cody.
Dumb motherfuckers. Then we get to meat slapping meat. Valhalla distracts Bronson Reed but gets thrown out even though she never touched him.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
They need to fucking flip Ivar babyface if they're going to keep doing this fucking angle.
I officially think Bronson can't do shit once he gets 3 minutes into a match.
Mm-hmm.
He looked blown up as fuck.
Yep.
I thought he hurt Ivar a couple of times. Both men get counted out as Bronson does an he did a Death Valley driver in a confined timekeeper's area and had Ivar's head and neck come down on an open steel chair like a fucking idiot.
Uh-huh. Like has anyone did not Jeff Cobb realize that like Hansen has had several neck fusions?
He's a fucking idiot.
Like seriously, like care for your fucking opponent.
And then they fought through the crowd before the suits broke them up, so whatever. Then we get a Zoe and Shayna pre-tape from earlier. Nia walks in talking shit. Zoe says, I can beat you. No, you can't.
No. You're going to learn today.
Yeah, you're going to learn today. Judgment Day comes back to their locker room. Our truth is covered in powdered sugar from eating
jelly rolls.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I mean, they just dropped Truth back right into where he was. Like, let's do it.
I mean, it fits. Sure.
You know what they really should do? If they don't pull the trigger on Wes Lee, they should have a Truth take the fucking North American title off of Dom.
Just have him fucking steal it.
I need my 24/7/11 North American back.
Right, exactly.
Just have him think it's the other belt. It writes itself. It writes itself.
Nia Jax beats Zoe Stark. Well, that's her 15 minutes of fame. Good for you, Zoe.
Yeah, she ain't ready. She ain't fucking ready.
Then we get Imperium, Vinci, and Kaiser talking. Gunther comes up. Says expecting to go to Adam Pearce and sort out the DIY issue.
Which, did I miss something? Because DIY had nothing to do with Imperium getting pinned.
Well, they just never closed that book.
Right. But you would think that during the tag team turmoil match, there would be something to keep that story going. But there wasn't, because they had fucking greenhorns pin DIY before fucking Imperium comes out.
Johnny didn't come out at all?
Not that I recall.
Yeah, I can't remember either. Let me roll back through this, because now that I have to refer to my computer notes, let me see here. Let me go back. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Like there was, it just made starting to slip.
Then Miz comes in. Basically challenges Gunther for another match, basically.
Yeah, because Gunther was basically like, I'm going to see who's my next challenger, and Miz is like, standing right here. Which why I said I wouldn't mind them running it back.
Then we get to Seth in the ring. kind of backhandedly, like in a backhanded way, talk shit about Punk briefly.
Well, because they had. Did you see the footage of the promo he cut on Punk during the house show on Sunday?
Yes.
So yeah, they were trying to play off that because that's. I don't like that they're automatically plugging Seth and Punk into this program. Like, I'm sorry, but okay, yeah, you're back and everything, but why are you skipping the fucking line right to the fucking main guy?
Once Seth reveals he talked to Adam Pearce about defending the title tonight, Drew McIntyre comes out. He wants to shake Seth's hand and congratulate him for winning.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like they had Drew join the heel team, but they still wanted to keep Drew as a tweener just until this.
Well, anyways, they eventually get to the point where Seth
says that his opponent's going to be
Seth tells
Jey.
Drew he's going to defend against Jey, and Drew drops Seth with a headbutt.
Which, here's another thing that I don't understand. Why is Jey getting the title shot? Jey didn't get the pin in the War Games match. So why is Jey getting the title shot?
Then Jey runs in and makes the save for Seth.
Like, it would make a lot more sense to have Seth face Cody next week and have Drew fuck up the finish on that.
We come back from commercial. Sammy and Drew are talking backstage, and Drew basically going to set up a match next week against Sammy. So there's 2 matches now for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Seth defending the title against Jey, Sammy versus Drew. By the way, in Albany, New York, next Monday night. Then we get Chelsea Green and Piper Niven defend the women's tag titles against Natty and Tegan Knox.
Because Natty and Tegan won that turmoil or the gauntlet match or whatever that it was. Yeah. I tell you, I wasn't a fan of them dressing Piper like Kong, but at least she's pulling it off.
Mm-hmm. Chelsea and Piper retain. Then backstage, Jey and Randy Orton talking. Orton says as long as Jay's out of the bloodline, they're good. They shake hands. Then Dom makes his entrance. Becky's interviewed backstage. Whatever. Orton beats Dom with an RKO.
Yep.
And then they end the show with CM Punk cutting a promo that...
Hold on. I got footage.
God. Yeah. What fake footage do you have of this promo?
No, I got footage. This is the CM Punk promo. Trust me.
Well, rumor and conjecture is that it was cut short because Bruce Pritchard doesn't know how to book a 3-hour TV show, apparently. And they were running long. So, even though they have an overrun usually, they still had the show end at 11 o'clock, which is fucking... What the fuck is this?
This is the CM Punk promo.
We're gonna win.
We're
gonna win.
Win!
You're gonna win. You're a sting. You're gonna win.
Got him!
Damn it, I pulled up the wrong clip.
It's okay.
I was trying to pull up the clip of come out, wave my little hat.
Oh.
Because that's what that was labeled as, and I didn't get to check before. But yeah. Because
that's come out, smile, wave my little hat.
Wave my little hat.
What do I get paid?
Mm-hmm. Yes, because that's what that was.
He's drunk on his ass, trying to wake up in the water fountain after the game. He ends up spitting the chew on the guy's shoe.
It's funny. I actually DM'd. I went to DM you with what I thought of it right after it aired, but I accidentally sent it to my buddy Rob because he was the last person that had messaged me. And so like the next morning he was laughing, but he's like, I don't know why I'm laughing at that because I don't know what you're referencing. I was like, that went to the wrong person. But basically I said that was a bigger crock of shit than what he said when he debuted on Rampage.
Not if you listen to what he said during the last 10 seconds he was on air before they went out.
Oh no, yeah, well, no, because that was the truth, and that was the same. It was the truth of fucking when he showed up in AEW. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. Yeah, no shit. You already proved that in AEW because they backed up 18 Brinks trucks to your fucking house, and you started fights with everyone. But then Bruce Pritchard cut off. The most important part of that was Punk being a fucking child. Did you see what he was doing as they were cutting away?
No.
He was running a victory lap around the ring. The same thing that the Bucks and Kenny did on Collision right after Punk got fired. Still a fucking child.
The last thing I remember was him saying, "I'm here to make money, not here to make friends," and then they went right to.
If you watch the YouTube clip, it shows him starting to run.
Oh, they show an extended clip.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right, exactly. Still a fucking child. And here's the problem. He's such a fucking hypocrite because the promo when he came out on Rampage 2 years ago was 2007 I left professional wrestling, 2019 I'm back. And now he's all, I'm home. Shut the fuck up. You talk so much shit about this company and got sued. You sat there on fucking Cole Cabana's podcast in 2014 and openly talked so much shit about this company, and now you're like, I'm home. Fuck you. You're still a fucking cancer. And I was a huge fucking CM Punk fan for years. I stood by him when that shit happened back in 2014. And then I fucking sat back and looked at the reality and looked at it from the business side, because that's one of the things that you get taught if you have the proper training is there's a certain time in your life when you need to realize you're either in the crowd or you're behind the fucking curtain. And once you're behind the fucking curtain, there's a whole different fucking way of looking at things. And that's how I can look at CM Punk and go, you are the problem.
Anything else you'd like to add before we run through NXT?
Fuck CM Punk.
All right,
I'm telling you, SummerSlam. I give it till SummerSlam.
I can't wait to read the comments on this show on YouTube. Can't fucking wait. Anyways, let's get to NXT. Two things. Before we get into the actual show, number one, they announced Vengeance Day will be on the road in Tennessee on February 4th. And they're going to be, well, they didn't announce this during the show, but it's been revealed since last night. On Wednesday, the 13th of December, they're going to be taping the 12-19 and 12-26 episodes of NXT and giving 2 weeks off for Christmas break, basically. And then they'll be back live on Tuesday, January the 2nd.
Which means spoilers are going to be out. I mean, NXT usually takes the last few weeks of December off.
Mm-hmm.
And they usually do like a best of for 2 weeks or whatever. I still think, and I don't know if I spoke about this when we talked about their new deal with the CW, but in all honesty, I think once they start airing on the CW, they need to shoot in arenas. I'm not saying big ass arenas, but they need to, like the local house show loop they do in Florida with the armories there. They need to find a way to shoot there with proper lighting and TV. So that way you keep your production costs down, but it needs to look more professional than just a soundstage. They need to up that ante, because once they're on the CW, you need to look better than studio wrestling. You can still do level up from the PC.
I'm going to sit and think on that.
Either that, or they need to buy a space near the PC. They need to buy like an empty space and build an arena. I'm not saying like huge, but like make it so it looks like where like Championship Wrestling from Florida used to fucking do their shit, so that it looks bigger. So you fit more than 500-600 people in there. because they'll obviously once they find out that it's, you know, especially national TV like CW, they will be able to sell tickets, especially, you know, if they have a single arena that's, say, in the, you know, in the Tampa, Orlando area, where they are able to do something where they have an arena that holds, say, 1,500 to 2,000. That will look so much better on TV than just doing shit from the PC.
I'm just looking up something real quick. Because I have an idea of where they could go. Where they could go. Check this out. Gee, thanks. This whole site's really fucking me up here.
I'll wave my little hat.
How about a I wish you'd give me a fucking capacity for what they could fit in here. Of course not. Jerk offs. Anyway, USF in Tampa has 2 buildings they could use if they wanted to.
Okay.
They have a basketball arena and they have their athletics center, which is basically the home base for everybody except basketball.
Right. Something like that.
Yeah. That's first thing that came to mind for me because it's in Tampa.
Right.
So it just makes sense there.
And even if they were to tape 2 weeks at a time, granted, spoilers come out, but
it's a day and age we live in. It is what it is.
Exactly. Like I think that would be a viable option for them just to make it look bigger.
All right, so NXT, we opened the show with the opening match brawling down the aisle into the ring.
Ugh.
It was the tag titles being defended.
Mexican Wolves.
D'Angelo against the Garza family, basically, yeah. D'Angelo family wins by pinning Angel Garza, excuse me.
I hate the gimmick. I hate it so much.
And they show footage of Axiom and Nathan Frazier. I thought Axiom got called up, dude.
Yeah, me too.
Axiom and Nathan Frazier talking about the Corbin Dragunov matchup coming up at Deadline.
Uh-huh.
Then Ilya walks in, shit gets heated.
Which it's so weird because like Dragunov's a babyface, but he just went full heel on Fraser. When Fraser was trying to de-escalate the situation and he's still like, no, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like,
yeah.
Why? Why are you feeding Nathan Fraser to this guy?
So then we get, this is weird. So they show a hype reel for ticket sales for the Berlin show. Then they show a hype reel for Johnny.
Yeah. So what they did was to lead up to the main event, which was the 4-way for the, you know, for Wesley.
Oh, so vignettes. It was vignettes.
They were highlight reels of every other opponent and when they won the North American Championship.
Gotcha. Then they show Brooks Jensen and Fallon Henley pumping up Josh Briggs over his victory in his qualifier the week before.
Mm-hmm.
Lexus King rolls up, take credit for some help in the act.
Yep.
King claims he's calling it like he sees him, but Briggs calls him a parasite.
Yep.
That's nice.
And then basically says Lexus King versus Jensen.
And then they show big ass bitch in the crowd.
Oh yeah, well no, that was worse than that. But so number one, it really looks like they're finally going to start giving Briggs a singles push, which he's overdue for one.
Right.
Jensen's got height, but besides that, he's another one of those second generation guys that just isn't really ever going to amount to anything, and it's time to cut the cord with it. But yeah, no, they showed Instagram fucking reels of ass bitch kicking a fucking heavy bag. And then they show ass bitch in the crowd. And they're like, she's almost back to 100%. No, go the fuck away. Go the fuck away and stay the fuck away. because you're horrible. And I'm sorry. And this is not me body shaming, but you've had this much fucking time off. You should have gotten in better shape. And there's a lot of people questioning how bad her injury was because she had a torn ACL, but a week after they announced her torn ACL, she was putting up Instagram stories of her like pole dancing and shit. It's kind of hard to do with torn ACL.
Then we get a qualifier match. Kalani Jordan beats Kiana James.
Because Roxy interferes.
Yep.
I tell you, the badass bitch Roxanne Perez is a good look for her.
Leaving that one alone.
Well, I'm just saying, like, because like she was like before with like the bubbly baby face, like the crowd was starting to not like it. The edgier look on her, it helps.
Leaving that alone.
What?
Yeah, nothing, because I know where you're going with that. Alpha Academy backstage cutting a promo about Noam Dar tapping, blah, blah. Sure, they want
set
to
up a mixed six-man match.
Jesus fucking Christ!
It's the mixed six-man because it's gonna be
With
Gable Otis, and Maxine against fucking Oro, Noam, and fucking Lash.
Great, because that's who I want as the female representing that group. Good.
Well, yeah, I mean both females in that group are terrible. Like they both need to be fired. Let's call a spade a spade.
But Lash has almost injured multiple people.
I know.
At least the other bitch hasn't.
I know.
Then we get back from commercial. Get footage showing Lexis King hanging out the night Trick Williams was attacked. All right,
They basically confirmed.
Yeah.
They confirmed that Lexus was the attacker to put that out to pasture so that they stop trying to tease the mellow heel turn.
Again, Andre Chase You press conference.
They finally revealed what the scandal was.
The investigation reveals suspicious illegal activity, including gambling and misuse of school funds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they went with.
Then we get Braun Breaker beating Eddie Thorpe in a qualifier match.
Poor Eddie Thorpe.
Then backstage, Trick is angry. Carmelo rolls up. They're talking shit about Lexis King.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Okay.
Basically, Mello says like we should go out and fuck with his shit like he fucked with mine, and Trick's like, oh well, I gotta focus on the Iron Survivor match, and he's like, we're not like that anymore. We don't mess with other people's matches, and Mello's like, yeah, okay, whatever, bitch.
Then Roxanne Perez comes across Ava Raine. That's random. Okay.
I'm really sick of these. Oh, look, here's all the girls in the back sitting together so we can all get into a fight fucking segments because it happens every damn week.
Ava Raine points out there's going to be a last chance qualifying 4-way next week. And then somebody mentions Kiana James is going to be in it too. And then a brawl breaks out because reasons.
Because that's what they've been doing. I mean, granted, at least Ava, like, I didn't even realize it was Ava at first. I was like, wow, she already like changed the look.
Ilya beats Nathan Frazier in a non-title match.
Dude, that was a fucking beating. Like it wasn't even like it was uncomfortable to watch. It was like you got a babyface versus babyface, but you just got Ilya just like pummeling fucking Frazier into the fucking ground for no fucking reason. Like it didn't help either guy.
Then we get Lyra Valkyria interviewed backstage. Fallon Henley rolls in, says she's going to win the Iron Survivor to challenge for the belt. Sure, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we show a promo that feeds into the next match. Whatever metaphor accepts the challenge from Alpha Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And we get Gacy kind of promo under the ring.
Uh-huh.
But what?
It's like where in the building is Joe Gacy? Like that's what they've been running with.
What is he fucking? Where's Waldo now? Okay.
No, we did a similar bit years ago with Nocturne, where like after every show, like we would like find Nocturne hiding in a random place, and like try to interview him, and like he was usually in the walk-in. It wasn't. It was a stand-up cooler that was in the kitchen of the Portuguese club. And he'd be like huddled up inside there.
Ariana Grace versus Carmen Petrovic. Gacy slides out from under the ring at one point and steals the timekeeper's bell and hammer.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They basically got Gacy playing Gazoo or Mr. Mix You Spitlick. Like he's just there to fuck with shit.
So then we get Grace winning, and then an excited Joe Coffey ringing the bell on the. What the fuck? I think you mean Gacy.
Yeah, Gacy. Yes.
Fucking buggers. Lexis King beats Brooks Jensen.
Look good.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Then we get the 4-way to determine one contender for the NXT North American Championship.
Hat on a hat.
Shocker, Wesley wins.
Well, yeah, but because there was a bunch of fuckery where fucking not Jeff Cobb goes for the fucking splash and Ivar appears out of nowhere and fucking beats up Jeff Cobb. And then they're back in the ring and fucking Cameron Grimes does the fucking cave in. But then Grimes you knew Cameron Grimes was taking the pin in this fucking match.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for coming out. I thought it was kind of hilarious how they were showing all the highlight videos of the former North American champions during it. And like, they really didn't have much to work with Bronson Reed. They showed him winning the title against Johnny Gargano and then him posing with the belt from the one match he had where he fucking lost it a month later.
And then they end the show by showing Roxanne Perez and Kiana James brawling outside in the park.
Yeah, on the hood of a car. Yeah.
The NXT parking lot is never safe.
Yep. Always.
All right. Couple quick news and notes before we get out. Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy Lynn Sitch has been sentenced to 17 years in prison.
Plus 5 probation after that.
So she dead.
I mean, it's the only thing that's going to get her clean. But I do feel bad because, I mean...
There's only one sad thing in this whole thing, honestly. I hate to be mean about it, but it's honest. The fact that all these years later, she still openly admits, and I don't doubt it being the truth, but she openly admitted during her sentencing in court when she was given the chance to speak that she's never been the same since Chris died.
Yeah.
Like, openly said this in open court.
I mean, it's true.
Been what? 20 years? 25 years?
No, it hasn't been that long. It was 05.
All right, so about 20 years. Okay. That's number one. Number two.
I mean, that is the truth, though. I mean, her and Chris, like, and I heard a lot of this because I was, I had a lot of I had a lot of influence from and training from ECW guys. So I heard a lot about how, like, even during their rough times, Chris and Tammy they were each other's sweethearts. And so I'm not giving her as an excuse, but I do see that because there's some people, like, once they pass, it is you never get over it. You never get over it. And that honestly sucks for her because she, yeah.
Number two. I'm actually going to try to find the actual article about this. Where are you? Number two. Who's more likely, not necessarily to make a second run in the company, just to appear?
Mm-hmm.
Who's more likely to appear in WWE first, Sasha Banks or AJ Lee?
Sasha.
Even if it's just like a one-off appearance.
Because I feel like AJ is going to be a surprise entrant in the Rumble.
Okay.
But I feel like Sasha is almost due to come home.
And then the last thing I have for the show, Kurt Angle revealed during his podcast show this week, he'll be undergoing another neck surgery.
Jesus.
Beginning of 2024. The direct quote he had was, I have a lot of motor skill problems, but just so you know, I have a neck surgery beginning next year, putting in artificial disc replacements, and it's going to help with his hands. I can't really grab things, and things always slip out of my hands and fall. I have horrible motor skills. My arms because they atrophied 3 inches each, and I don't have any muscle in here. Completely flat. He's referring between his thumb and finger.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Recovery time is 2 weeks, he says. Oh, the dude's gonna be the $6 billion man by the time he dies. The way he's
Yep.
doing all these surgeries. Him
Yep.
and fucking Hogan. Hogan with the back, him with the neck.
Uh-huh.
Eddie Hooser. You got anything else?
Yeah, we got that one other overlay you sent me. Yeah. Apparently there's a show in Hartford this weekend. Of course, you wouldn't know it if you lived around here. Here's what's really fucking sad. So you sent this to me.
Mm-hmm.
This hasn't been posted anywhere else except by him.
Like, why?
So Game Changer Wrestling is running at the Webster Theater again in Hartford. They ran there a couple of months ago. They drew maybe 250 people, if that. Which sucks because, like, knowing that the Webster is open to wrestling again, like, I would love to start a relationship with the new owners, but GCW is going to kill that. So Credible put up that he's going to be there. The show is called Come On Dude, which, come on, give me a fucking better title than that. But the thing is, he put this up. If you go to Game Changer's fucking social media, they have nothing about it. And as it is, they haven't posted anything about this show, which is this weekend, since November 17th, when they announced their card. This is what they announced. They said, already signed, Blake Christian versus Alec Price for the fucking title. Unagi Sayaka versus Lufisto. Effie versus Santana Jackson. And then also appearing, Nick James, Rina Yamashita, Jordan Oliver, Gringo Loco, Mance Warner. They don't even have Credible listed there.
Fucking mess.
Right. I got a text from a friend last night with a screenshot. He's like, "You going to this?" I was like, "Fuck no. Fuck Brett Lauderdale." Like, I would go to support PJ if, like, I didn't have to pay, but fuck no. I'm not fucking. I don't want to. I ain't touching fucking Game Changer with a 10-foot fucking pole.
By the way, did you? I wonder. I try to remember if this asshole posted anything recently. I know I saw him doing something.
What?
Fucking Game Changer is promoting shows for Rumble weekend before they even get through this weekend.
Yep.
They're announcing changes to their Chicago show in January 12th.
They're doing a Nick Gage Invitational.
They have a show in Brooklyn this Sunday they're promoting.
Yep, they're promoting the show in Brooklyn, but they're not what do you call it? They just did WrestleCade. They just did WrestleCade on the 24th. They're running a Black Friday sale for stuff. But yeah, Chicago and Columbus, Ohio dates. January 12th in Chicago. Confirmed to appear Andrade, Maki Ito, the War Dogs, Nick Gage, Ringo Loco, Microman, Blake Christian, Violence is Forever, and more. January 13th in Columbus. Confirmed to appear Nick Gage, Joey Janela, Blake Christian, Bussy, Microman, Violence is Forever, Myron Reed, The Rejects, and more. But yeah, like nothing as far as this fucking Sunday goes, or this Saturday goes. And then when is this? Saturday, December 30th. Yeah, the Nick Gage Invitational Tournament. Already announced Risa Serra, Daiju Wakamasido, Emerson Jane, Jacob Fatu, Valento Jack, Jimmy Lloyd. Like, I haven't even heard of it. That's for the Nick Gage Invitational, which is going to happen in Jersey.
They also just announced on Monday Masha Slamovich is in it.
Oh, okay. And the thing is, if it's in Jersey, that means that it's going to be a double header show, which they never fucking advertise, because what they do is it's a double header. And before that is Jersey Championship Wrestling, which is all the fucking guys from Jersey that they make ticket sellers. And they go, you can get on this show if you sell fucking tickets. And that way they're like, oh, if you sell enough tickets at X amount of shows, then you get on a Game Changer. That's what they did with Jordan Oliver. And like, so Jordan Oliver's on the main shows now, and Jordan Oliver was putting in his time in fucking MLW.
Hey, I just found a GCW tweet that actually mentions Just Incredible.
Oh, wow. It's a fucking miracle.
It's from Sunday.
Huh.
3 days ago. There was when they had it was a tweet where they were announcing the official booking of Mance Warner versus Jimmy Lloyd. Then underneath it, it's all right. Just signed Mance Warner versus Jimmy Lloyd. Plus, Blake Christian versus Alec Price, Rita and Masha versus Miracle Jen, Unagi Sayaka against Lufisto, Effie versus Santana Jackson, and then Nick Gage, Justin Credible, Jordan, and more.
So they haven't. So he's going to end up working Gage.
What did I tell you? My concern was when they booked him.
I thought they were going to have him work Mance, but they got Mance working Jimmy Lloyd.
What the fuck did I tell you was my concern when they booked him?
You called it. And dude, I don't know, like, and I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but I don't understand the hard on around here for Miracle Generation. I fucking was there to watch their fucking match at the ISW show last year that I was at, and I was not impressed. Like, I don't know, and I wasn't the only one that wasn't impressed, like, as far as bookers go that watched that.
By the way, that team that Jordan Oliver's in, was it East West Express?
Whatever they're in now, because I don't even know, because last time I knew Oliver was going singles route because him and Myron Reed were no longer tagging as the Rascals.
Well, apparently he's in some tag team that's been booked with GCW called East West Express, it looks like.
Okay.
There's a weird issue going on though right now. Guess what phrase AEW has filed a trademark for 2 days ago?
East West Express? Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be happy if Jordan Oliver gets paid, because the kid's talented. I will give him that. And he actually has worked on his physique in the past year to look better. And I'm sorry, I said that him and my Reed with the Rascals, they're not, they were something else. I always forget
I know what you meant.
Yeah, I know, because Myron joined the Rascals in TNA. But yeah, like Jordan Oliver has taken strides to, look more professional and everything. So I give that to that kid. So I know he'll get lost in the fucking shuffle in AEW, but at least he'll be getting paid. Right. So that, that may be a stepping stone until, this company loses its shit. But yeah, I am no fan of Game Changer. And like, all they're doing is trying to fill the void that was left by CZW, because all the fuckery that happened there with DJ Hyde, and all CZW was doing was trying to fill the void left by ECW. So it's like, it's a copy of a copy of a copy. I don't dig it. I don't dig anything they do. Like, I'm happy people can get paid by going there, but I don't dig it.
Let's just hope they actually have doctors on site for all their shows.
It's not a requirement in Connecticut, so.
Anywhoser. By the way, I mentioned how I said something earlier that I didn't think I'd ever say in 2023. I have one other thing.
Okay.
Dixie Carter was backstage at Raw.
Yeah, she just took some pictures, then was out. Like, I think she was just there because of them being in.
I think the most awkward picture was her with in between Aldis and Cody. I was kind of like, oh, that's.
What the fuck?
Hi. Anyways, you got anything else? Because I've got nothing. I'm good.
I don't think so. I'm just trying to fix something here real quick.
All right. Well, while you're fixing that, I'll wrap it up. It's been episode 104 of White Heat. Damn right. Yeah. By the way, I hope y'all enjoyed your Thanksgiving, whatever the fuck you celebrated over the last week.
Oh, the wife brought home a Thanksgiving pie.
What kind of pie was it?
No, like, remember I told you about the leftovers pie?
Oh, yeah. How is it?
It's in the freezer right now. It's getting safe for, yeah.
We'll have to find out how that'll be breaking news sometime on one of these episodes coming up. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to episode 104 of White Heat. You can follow us on the Twitter X, the X Twitter, I don't fucking know, whatever you want to call it. I'm at Brian Katie. He's at JJ_Alexander. Mm-hmm. I got to call the wife because she called me twice in the last 5 minutes, so I better figure that shit out.
Sorry.
That being said, you're fine. We went long. I bullshitted way too long about CM Punk than I should have. That being said, JJ,
Yes, sir.
You already said it in this show, but I'm going to let you say it again. Say fuck CM Punk.
Fuck CM Punk.